figure that out later. Not a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my live as soon as it pops up, as soon as it shows. And I will see the chat, and I'll go ahead and just add it using the smart add as opposed to doing it how you're supposed to do it. So just give it a second while. Is it going to do it? Like, show me, you little bugger. Just going to wait. Come on. Home. Ah, there it is. Shows live. Okay. We're doing it live. All right. So then I'm going to just put this on live chat. And then I'm just going to add the chat off to the side here. Smart selection. We're going to just do this portion here. All right, maybe it's a little janky. Maybe I need to put it behind. You know? Come on. Oh my God, really? Where'd it go? There it is. Go down. No? More? Huh? Huh? Not bad, right? Let me. I think I can even make it bigger. Oh, it's behind my game. Yeah. There you go. That should work. How about that? All you're seeing now is an overlay issue. Dude, it's fine. Don't worry. It's fine. It's good. All right. So I'm going to just type test. I think it's there. Hold on. Yeah, it's working. Curious though. Maybe I should raise it a bit. Come on now. What is this? Hold on. Okay, gotta... What the fuck? What is going on? Why is that showing? What? That's so weird. What does it show? What is that? Okay, that's gone now. I don't know what the fuck. Alright. Alright, it's a little jank. We'll figure it out, okay? We'll be alright. And I'm about to start the event, so give me 1 second. I have to leave the stage, and then we're going to go ahead and just start the event 15 minutes early. Give me 1 second, okay? Don't leave. Why does this have you close the stage? Hey, Athena, can you do me a favor? How do I close the stage? Hold on. I got to close the stage and then reopen it. Hold on. There it goes. All right. Starting event. All right. All right. There we go. God, that's fucking annoying. Why is it like that?
Sorry, I jumped in and did that
for you. No, you're good.
you.
You're good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So, how's everybody doing? Everybody having a good day? Y'all ready to hear a Democrat debate? A cringe Democrat, if you will. Very cringe. Immediately cringe. Where are we at with Mario? I got 54. We're looking at 54.
Wendy, are you there?
Oh, can you not hear me? I knew it would do this. It always does this. So glad I'm not recording yet. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see what I mean with the sound problems?
Yeah, I can totally see. Yeah.
It blindsided me, bro.
Hmm. That's weird.
I just have to close out of... I have to... Like, I don't know what it is. It's something to do with my sound drivers. All right. I just got to make sure that I can... Drivers. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear myself in the live, so that's good. It was just Discord. So that's good. We're fine. All right. Anyway.
Okay.
I'm going to record the active scene, and then we'll just get started from there. Very cool.
I'll just top off now.
Okay. So, how's everybody's day going? Are y'all having a good day? You can always, as well, chat in the YouTube. I am looking at the Discord chat as well. So if you do type in the Discord chat, I'll try to include you. I do see you, Bonji. You do want to speak. Yes, we are going to go ahead and include you in a moment. Where was I in Mario? Real quick, I was dealing with just getting more stars. I think that's pretty much all it was. So let's hold on. I'm just going to check real quick. All right. So which one's Pianta Village again? I remember. You need the rocket nozzle. I remember. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get Bonji in. Okay. We'll just get straight into the debates. Hey, KRP Mills, how you doing? I'm doing great. I'm really glad that you joined in. I'll try to get everybody's comments if I can, and just respond to you. So we're gonna hopefully have a really good night tonight. Okay. So let's go ahead and bring in Bonji. I have invited Bonji to speak. Hey, Bonji, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. You got anything in particular, or you want to look at my list again?
Hell yeah, dude. Let's pull up that list. I think I only got to like 5, and then we had like a fucking 2-hour discussion.
Yeah.
How many do you have? Like
I just added
150?
113 now.
They say they're not seeing my screen on Discord. Oh, yes, I got you. Hold on. Give me a moment. I'll go ahead and share that. There it is. Screen on Discord. You can see it, okay?
Preferably, start at number 80, because those are a lot more recent, and
Okay.
those are
Let
I
me-
kind of like those recent takes more.
remember. All right. I remember
The last
you sent me.
feminism is needed, and
Let me take a look here. Is he breaking up for other people, or is it just me? Please tell me it's just.
I'm right here.
him. Or was I
me?
breaking up? Yeah, I
Check
can
1,
hear
2.
you barely. He told me to start
Shit.
on 80. Can y'all hear? You're like, cool, thanks. Yeah, he was breaking up. Okay, well, I mean, y'all are hearing my thing anyway. Okay. No, I don't think it's an issue on my end. Okay, so you said to start on 80. Okay, let's take a look here.
Yeah.
Neither Israel nor Palestine have the moral high ground in this conflict. True. There's caveats. I think it depends on the situation. I think it depends. There's areas where Palestine is absolutely in the right, and there's areas where Israel is in the right. But yeah, they're kind of like, they kind of both suck a lot. I don't know. maybe I'm just an asshole. Maybe I'm just being insensitive, but I feel like, yeah, I don't think you and I. Fat shaming is not inherently bad. The way it is done will determine whether or not it's good or bad.
Don't laugh at me. I'll
Bro,
say
I
what
don't
the hell
want to
I
touch
say.
that with a 10-foot pole.
Yo, don't touch it then. Don't touch it then. Just find something. What you do, like 20, 30 minutes per debate?
Well, I mean, it can be longer. It's fine. I'm just trying to
Okay.
think that, like, All right, fine. I'll bite.
Wait, don't do 81, bro. Do something you actually want to engage with me on.
All right, fine. 82. Just because you can be in an open relationship doesn't mean that you should.
Okay, yeah, let's hit that one. That's a good one. All right. So, should I expand or
All right.
do you want
Hold
to?
on. Okay, let me. All right, so 4:30.
Am I cutting out again?
No, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me see here. So it says just because you can be in an open relationship doesn't mean that you should. Okay.
Mm.
So I guess like my question is like, are you having an issue regarding an open relationship in itself?
I think open relationships in and of itself, and let me just preface this by saying that everybody has their own freedom. They can do whatever the fuck they want to. If they have the ability to do it and that's something that they want to do, by all means go for it if that's what you want to do. Let me just preface it by saying that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I personally would discourage pursuing an open relationship is because statistically it doesn't really take you far, right? Inevitably what's going to happen is that when you're in an open relationship there's going to end up being jealousy that occurs in said relationship. And the problem is with a lot of open relationships and how they initially start and how they inevitably end is due to the likelihood of jealousy amongst one party or both. Because at the end of the day, the way I see it, we are inherently monogamous creatures, and how we process the relationships that we operate off of is going to be a determining factor at how we are on a personal scale. And what I mean by that is that if we try to exacerbate more than one, or we try to put a balance between multiple partners that you're with and try to commit to multiple partners, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to end up, there's going to be a lot of things that you're not going to end up liking out of that result. And that's where a lot of people get fucked up. um you know I would lead to Destiny as an example, right? Who was in an open relationship, and come to find out, his wife wasn't really his then wife wasn't really feeling him like that anymore because she ended up finding somebody else that was inevitably better than him, right? And that's a problem with open relationships. Relationships are meant to be monogamous. Relationships are meant to be something that is a commitment between two parties and should be taken just as seriously as such. And people starting to, try to find a healthy balance in open relationships is just going to cause inevitable failure, the way I see it.
So, my thoughts just listening to you is I feel like I generally agree with you on a lot of your points. I guess my main concern is like, what if people decide that they want to be in an open relationship? Like, does that mean like we should look at them thinking like, oh, it's never going to work out, and just I guess applies that pessimistic mentality towards it?
I know that me personally, I'm always going to be pessimistic when I hear somebody say that they're in an open relationship. That's just me, though. I'm not saying that should be societally encouraged for you to just be, treating somebody all the different simply because of the decisions that they're making on their own merit, right? Whatever they do, that's up to them. They have the freedom to be able to do whatever it is that they want to do. I'm saying that on a realistic scale, right? Which we have to look at it on a realistic measurement. You're more likely than not gonna achieve anything out of that said relationship, but a lot more mental anguish, so on and so forth, simply just by attempting to do something like that. Because, like I already mentioned, naturally we're not supposed to be committing to more than one person, right? Like we're not. That's not something that's literally something that we were never able to achieve, right? And we've seen it historically, and we see it more so now, given the fact that this generation is just as soft and just as schizo as the last one. So, like, what makes you think that we can be able to handle more than one partner?
Well, Bungie, I get your argument, right? But like, I guess like you're just saying that like, well, it's not normal, which fair enough, it's not normal. And you're saying, okay, it's also unsustainable. Okay, yeah, most situations it's unsustainable. But do you think it's possible that there could be a situation where it could work out? Or it's just there's just no way in your mind?
Possibly, right? There is a potential for. There's always the way I see it. There's always going to be exceptions to the rule, right?
Yeah,
And that's simply how I see it. An exception to the rule.
Okay,
Doesn't mean that it's still gonna happen in the actual outcome of most case scenarios, right? And the way that I measure it is via the most case scenario. If the most case scenario is that you're not going to be able to achieve anything out of said thing, out of whatever it is that you're trying to pursue, then it probably would make most sense not to try and pursue that said thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like my main concern is I guess the overgeneralization, but it doesn't sound to me that you're generalizing. You're just saying, hey, open relationships tend to not work. You're right. They tend to not work, but at the same time, it's you're acknowledging that like, open relationships could indeed happen. And so like, it's perfectly okay in your mind.
Right. I'm not saying we should, I'm not saying that we should, make it illegal, or we should, create a societal perception that will possibly end up in discriminating against people simply based off of who they choose. I think who they choose to be with, or the multitude of people that they choose to be with, right? Like, I think we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, you know what I mean? I don't think that's going to end up working in the society that we're in now. But I am saying that society... but what I am saying is that we do need to be realistic with how we operate as a society, and
I'm just saying, don't dog on somebody for their yum is kind of that's where I'm at with it. Like, I think like people should be able to make that decision, for themselves, and like if it works out for them, more power to them. I don't think we should like look at them in a negative light. I guess that's
right.
My only concern. Is
now I will be honest. I will be honest. There have been a lot of cases where, or I won't say a lot of cases, but there has been a case where one of my sisters had said at one point that she was looking to pursue an open relationship, and I looked at her. I was like, what? Are you nuts? Like, why would you try to do that? She was like, wait, what do you mean? I was like, first and foremost, right? Full and hell well, like, that's not how we were raised. We don't do that shit. Second of all,
hold on though, right? This is what I'm saying.
Second of all, wait, hear me out. Let me finish. Second of all, and I'm not throwing my sister on blast, but I will say that all of us, as in like me and all my siblings, don't have the history of relationship.
Not me,
Hey, she know, who said she gonna see it? Who said she gonna see it?
Hey, who knows? You never know how big these videos
she don't know my voice.
These videos will be up for years, just so you're aware, right? Just be aware.
Shit. If she does end up confronting me about it, I'm gonna say the exact same thing that I said to her when we were in that car. I was like, yeah, nah, don't do that shit.
I'm just trying to watch out for you, buddy.
Yeah, okay, nah, I'm chilling.
So, I mean, I get you're saying like, okay, you're concerned, right? But like, what if she just decides to do it anyway? Are you okay with it?
I mean, inevitably, I would have to, because she's, at the end of the day, she's my older sister.
Yeah,
it's not like, it's not even just my sister. She's my older sister. All my sisters are older than me, so with them older siblings, like, they're gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do, whether we tell each other not to do it or not. Yeah. So. I mean,
I'm just saying, don't be judgmental to her. I mean, she could be going through something that you're not really fully aware of.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't judge them. I would just obviously, like, you need consenting adults there, and I'm a firm believer that I think that, like, if you have consenting adults making this decision, I don't think it's any business of anybody, right? Like, I understand people want to say, hey, this is right or wrong, but like they're not hurting anybody by doing this, other than themselves.
Why do you think people even try to pursue open relationships or like polyamorous relationships in the first place?
Do you want me to just be honest with you?
Well, keep it straight up, bro. We have a conversation.
They want to fuck. They don't want to get stuck fucking the same thing over and over. They don't want to do that, and so they just want to fuck. They want some variety, man. They want a buffet. They don't want the one meal. They want a buffet, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we should
100%.
hate on people, man or woman, if they want a buffet as opposed to wanting a restaurant.
Yeah, but again, I'm not talking about hating on people, right? I'm talking about being realistic with it. And from what
Granted, it's
thesis,
generally
what
not
my
super
thesis
sustainable.
is,
Sorry, I overtalked you.
no, you good. What my thesis is though is that the reason why you have a lot of people who pursue polyamorous relationships in the first place is because there's a lot of trauma that's attached to how they were brought up, right? It's a lot of, and I'm pretty sure that there are statistics that correlate with this as well. Oh God, I'm whiffing my shots like a motherfucker. Yeah, I'm stupid, but yeah, I think what it is that if you grow up in a household, and I do think that a lot of our issues that we see today do derive off of how we were brought up. I do think that if you see if you don't see the example that you're supposed to see growing up at a young age, more likely than not, when you go into adulthood, you're going to end up acting upon the things that you saw your parents do, right? And not necessarily to say that your parents were the ones that were operating in open relationships, but let's say, for instance, that you see a parent that was, uh, that was, that performed an infidelity throughout their relationship with either your father or your mother, right? And you noticed this and you began to think over time like, oh, this is okay, but realistically speaking, you knew that this wasn't okay, but you know, there's a trauma that's attached to it. And you and I both know that kids are most definitely traumatized by parents that cheat on each other in a relationship, 100%. So if this is an ongoing issue, right, where parents aren't necessarily bringing their children up in their respective manner, right? Then inevitably there's going to be a child that ends up growing into an adult that ends up pursuing something that isn't necessarily good for their health, right? And this could come in the form of an
I mean,
open
parents do that
relationship.
all the time. They do things
Yeah,
where they
I don't
screw
think
up,
we
but
should
like
though.
I think like that the end result of like wanting to like police that sort of thing is probably going to be a worse off society than
Wait,
just
it's not
leave
about
them be.
policing. It's not about policing. I'm not saying like we should.
Well, you're
Again,
saying
I'm
it's
not saying
wrong,
that this
right?
is something. I
Like,
do believe that it's wrong, but I'm not saying
yeah, I
police
mean,
it.
like, I mean, I suppose, but again, like, you already agree that the exception could be the case. And so if the exception could be the case, therefore it's possible that a child is just perfectly fine. You know,
But wait, let me
improbable.
ask you
I
this then.
probably agree with you. It's likely improbable, but I'm saying that like I'm operating like on an exception and not the norm. And so I think like among individuals, they should just make that decision for themselves, and I don't think they should be looked down upon as a result of
Wait,
making
so
such a decision.
is this how you operate with a lot of other things? Like you typically abide by the exception and not necessarily the rule?
Well, so what I do is that um, there exists a series of generalities, and like I can acknowledge that those generalities are a thing. I'm acknowledging your concept of the generality. You're like, generally it's not good, which I'm like, yeah, great. All right. What about instances where the opposite is the case?
Right, and I can understand that, but at the same time, when I'm looking at a scenario, in good faith, I must acknowledge that this is something that could possibly not go the way that I'm assuming that it's going to go. But if there are a collective of experiences that have been both seen, have been measured, so on and so forth, and you see that the most likely scenario is that this is what's going to be the outcome of it, then it only makes sense to look at this issue and be like, I don't know if this is the right choice that should be made.
To be fair, right? I feel like, I mean, like, how many parents?
Think about it.
How
Think about
many
it this way.
parents are just going to be like, yeah, let's like swing? Like, this is going to be like parents that don't, or people that don't have kids.
But wait, that's not really how that works, right?
What
We're
time do
having-
you have? Like, it realistically, right? What time do you
it's not
have?
about, it's not about them coming to an agreement about it, Amender. It's about that people are stupid enough to make stupid decisions
No,
for their own
hear
interest
me
and
out.
not for the interest of other people.
Hear me out. I'm saying they do the thing, right? They're interested in that, but they have a kid. I'm like, they should be like pretty busy. I feel like, than to just like go out swinging when it's like they have kids. It's like
So that's
I think the
so that's the
exception
children of
is,
parents to commit infidelity all the time, right? Like they might not
well,
have
I'll
had the
agree
time to
with you
do
with
it. They might have
infidelity, but you're not talking about
screwed-
infidelity. That's a different topic.
No, no. I brought up infidelity when I was, trying to make a correlative
No,
argument.
you're
I'm not saying
talking
it's
about
the
open
causal.
relationships where people make the decision to do that.
I know, but then what I pointed out earlier was what could possibly cause people to make these decisions. That's what I was talking
They
about.
just want
And
they
infidelity
want
was
something
one of
different,
the.
man. They're unsatisfied for one reason or another. It could be physical, it could be emotional. There's all sorts of reasons why somebody cheats on another person.
I don't think it's that black and white though. I think it's a lot more deeper than that. What you're giving it
How
credit
is that
for.
black and white? I said there's a bunch of reasons, and you're saying black and white. I'm lost.
Well, I'm saying like the black and white, as in this. That's just something that they. This is something that they want. They're interested in, right? Like not necessarily. Like
Well, what else do you think it is?
I already said what I thought it was. That it's numbers based off of how they were brought up.
You're breaking up.
Could come
Buddy.
in a multitude
You're
of
breaking up, my homie.
shit. I hate this thing.
Why is it doing that?
I don't know.
You came in
I don't
through
know how
fine
to
last
fix
time.
it. Yeah, I don't know either. It's probably because I have it wired attached to my to my phone, my mobile device. Ugh. But
Okay.
yeah. But what I do think that infidelity between the parents could possibly cause that type of a strain as well. And no, I don't have statistics to measure that, so don't ask. It's just an assumption.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm not gonna. I'll operate in better faith and like just take your word for it, right? Unless if you're talking about some like really incredible statistic that it's like, well, I've never heard of it, and also like it's pretty like insane what you're saying. So,
Yeah, granted, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing, though. But
all right, well, let's see what we can do if we can try another one of your hot takes here.
all right, I'll do one more with you because I know there's other people that want to come in too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. Government assistance should not be incentivized. What do you mean by incentivized?
What I mean is that it shouldn't be something that is encouraged, right? Like, how do you define incentivization? And then I'll give you my definition.
Government should not be. Okay, but
How do you define incentivized?
wouldn't that be like a subsidy? Because subsidies are literal encouragement by the government.
I mean, when I'm talking about an incentivization, I'm talking about something that is actively. I mean, it could be subsidized, and if that's the case, then I would probably argue that government assistance is probably subsidized more
So-
likely than not because you have a lot of people who take advantage of it. But when I'm talking about incentivization,
a subsidy is the incentive, right? So what they do is that they introduce money into it to basically get the ball rolling so people can get like a product for cheaper. They usually do it to encourage some sort of behavior or action that they would like to see more of because it has like beneficial outcomes for one reason or another. And so like you're saying government assistance should not be incentivized like that would include all subsidies? Like, do you see my confusion?
I see where you could be confused at. Um, what I'm referring to more specifically is about the likelihood of somebody who is in poverty. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This was a very racially motivated argument that I'm making because the vast majority of black men and women, primarily black women, are on government assistance more likely than not welfare, right? And I think that the reason why a lot of black culture, the reason why a lot of black people, especially within our culture, are lacking and failing on an economic measurement is because we take advantage of welfare far too much. That's what I'm arguing. and I was saying that the desensitization of government assistance would possibly give better of an encouragement to the black community to actually, make a name out of themselves rather than just, make a name out of the government assistance that they acquire.
Can I ask you, why do you think people go into welfare?
Because they're poor and they feel like that they don't have any other resort to go off of. I feel
Okay.
like it's probably a last resort measurement that they take.
Okay. So, are you saying that they shouldn't get that help?
I think that if they get the help, right, then they should be able to find ways to work away from needing that help any further. I think a lot of people, and this isn't even just black people in general, this could be anybody that's in poverty, but I do believe that I do believe that in a lot of cases, people who are dealing with an issue of poverty are only looking at it from a one-dimensional standpoint. Oh, now I have the government assistance, so I'm good, right? Not necessarily. You still need to be able to figure out a way for you to get out of that government assistance, right? Or get to the point where you no
Do you
longer
think
need that government assistance. I don't think people are taking that. I don't think people are taking that measurement to actually pursue that.
Do you think, like, if somebody had a poor education, do you think that they would likely have this kind of a one-track mindset as opposed to like thinking more deeper about it, or what do you?
Probably.
Okay,
And I mean, then that would be an argument about changing the education system, right? Which
sure.
I wouldn't necessarily be against that, right? I would probably be against the methodology depending on how you would argue to pursue it.
So are you
But
saying that it's a good idea to encourage people to get educated?
yeah, I think it's a better idea to encourage people to actually want to push forward policy that better incentivizes a better education, or not incentivizes, or
So
better pursues a
you
better
do
education.
think that government assistance should be incentivized? I just walked you to it.
How so?
You said education.
I mean, education is a different thing, though,
That's an
right?
incentive.
How is education an incentive?
You are paying
Maybe
money
I'm retarded.
to incentivize them to get schooling.
Wait, but is it an incentive if it's required? You have to do it.
Believe it or
Incentive,
not,
incentivizing is something that you
in
would
some
encourage
states,
something to do.
it's not required.
What do you mean it's not required?
Yeah,
Bullshit.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not screwing with you.
Nah, I feel like you pulled up my leg a little
I'm
bit.
not. I'm not. So I agree with you. Having more education benefits outcomes, right? It makes life better for pretty much everyone because you have less stupid people, and then you also have people that make more educated decisions, which then results in better, like the system working better, right? People make decisions that are more educated. And however, if you're in favor of such a thing, that would mean that you're okay with the incentivization of government assistance.
So when I'm talking about government assistance now, whether or not we can argue education being government assistance or an incentivization or not, that's a different conversation. But
What is the
I
Pell
should
Grant?
I should well, that's a government assistance. I'm almost positive.
Yeah. What is it? What is
Yeah,
it?
there's an Pell Grant for like college and shit. I don't know.
Yep. Basically, if you're
Yeah, that's,
poor, you
and if you get
can
into college,
get
they give you a Pell
a
Grant.
few $1,000, right?
Yeah.
You can go to your community college. You with me?
Yeah. Okay. So hear me out. Let's revise this take
Are you in?
and say that welfare shouldn't be
Hey, I got you to
incentivized.
change your take.
Yeah, you got me. Let's revise. Let's
Jeez.
revise it because you kind of got me here. You got me here. I'm sorry. I was specifically talking about welfare, and I should have specified that. But let's talk about welfare because that's what I really want to go. That's what
Okay.
I really want.
Yeah, let's talk about
Want to
welfare.
dumb
Do you want to
it.
do
Yeah.
do you want to try what's it called? Yeah, no. Do you want to try food stamps? Are you against
we can
food
look
stamps?
at food. We can look at food stamps. I'm not against food stamps. I'm not against welfare. I'm against the amount of people that obtain these things.
So,
That's what I'm
like,
against.
I mean, like, to me, the way that I think about this is, like, if people don't get enough food, they riot. Would you say that that's a fair assumption? When people don't get food, they tend to go fucking crazy.
That is a likely scenario. I will not deny.
Right? Yeah, I mean, they can't feed their kids. They start stealing crap. They'll start stealing stuff. They'll break into cars. They'll do everything that they can to make sure that they can feed themselves and kids. Do you know why? Because it's life and death. Right? So they stop caring about societal like boundaries. They will gladly knife a person to get their next meal if it was that crazy. So under that basis, I would assume you don't want to see all of society collapse, yes?
I wouldn't.
Okay, so do you think an incentivization of having people on food stamps might be a good idea?
I don't think it should necessarily be an incentivization though, because when I'm talking about incentivization, I'm thinking of something that is actively being encouraged. Somewhat of a cop out. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is that you have a lot of people, like I was saying earlier, that will take advantage of this form of welfare rather than actually using it as a means to help get back up on their feet. Right now, and this is just off the top of my head, I'll see what I can find to support it when I get out this game. But from what I understand, is that there are a lot of people, and by a lot I mean the vast majority of people in the United States are on welfare right now as we speak. And rather than actually try to come up with ways to get people out of welfare so that they will no longer need it in the future, right? This is just something that generally still people will still utilize welfare simply because it's easily acquirable and easily accessible, right? That's the problem.
All right, so before we continue forward, I'm going to have to do the definitional game with you.
Which means that I'm going to have to lead this game.
Would you say that a fair definition of incentive is a thing that motivates or encourages one to do something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can go with that.
And incentivize is to provide someone with an incentive for doing something.
Yes.
Okay. So regarding food stamps, if somebody is like stealing, right, for food, do you think that we should likely incentivize them to get on food stamps so that way they don't have to suffer and die?
Well, let me before we do that,
someone else's stuff that's not theirs.
Before we do that, let me ask you this: is this person having a difficult time acquiring a job?
Yeah, I mean they could just suck. Sure, maybe they just suck. Maybe they just don't want a job.
See, and that's where we're going to have to fundamentally disagree, because you can't just make other people's lives miserable just because you're too much of a chicken shit lazy motherfucker, excuse my French, to go out and get a job so you can be able to buy your own food. Like, let's call it for what it is. That's insane. If you are in a situation where you literally cannot wait. If you're in a situation where you literally cannot acquire basic survivability needs, right? Whether that be food, housing, whatever the case may be. If you can't acquire those things, right, which me and you would probably agree, we consider to be fundamental rights. I consider food and housing to be a fundamental right to every human being. If you have not done your due diligence to be able to go through the things that you would need to go through in order to obtain those things, like get a job, then that doesn't give you the right to go out of your way to try and make somebody else's life miserable by potentially killing them or doing harm to them simply because you don't want to be able to work for what they worked for, right? That's the problem that I have. And I think that in a
Yeah.
lot of cases, we're still in a situation where people are still stealing from people for the sake of getting basic survivability needs, right? And this could come in the form of taxation. I think that the way that we are taxing our average American citizen in order to be able to provide these levels of government assistance to said individual is insane. Because let's not forget the fact that the vast majority of Americans right now are in poverty, right? And we're still taxing them to shit just so another portion of Americans could be able to obtain government assistance, which isn't even that easily obtainable to the vast majority of people who are in poverty right now. So realistically speaking, there's a lot of issues that's going on with our government for us to be encouraging people to be able to go into food stamps when we don't even know for certain if they're exercising the options to be able to not even need food stamps. They shouldn't need that for as long as they do.
Let me walk you through some of my logic here. So let's say you got lazy fuck, right? Guy who just couldn't be fucked to do anything and better their life. They're even capable. They're able, right? But if they don't get the food stamps, the end result is that they end up stealing stuff, right? Makes life worse for people, if you will. Right? Does it make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So, in Society A, we take this person to jail, right? Now, I'm just curious. We took them to jail.
Society
They're no
A.
longer stealing. But the end result is what? They're in jail, right?
Hmm.
Which does what? Doesn't that cost money?
It does cost money.
Okay. And then what happens? This guy is like no longer like present in society and can't be like a player on the open market, even though
But on
he's
the
a
same
broke
token,
ass loser.
What is that spot?
What?
Apex. And this dude has a stupid fucking spot about to kill him.
So all I'm trying to point out to you is so in Society A they go to jail, right? And then in Society B, I just gave them food stamps, what actually costs less at the end of the day than to jail them.
Wait, food stamps last time I checked would cost them more.
Versus giving them
Not
full room and
necessarily.
board? Are you sure about that?
No, actually, right? Because we're actually looking at the measurement of crime versus the measurement of people who are on food stamps, right? There are a lot more people in food stamps than there is a prison population. At least that's what I remember reading on, right? So if
I
that's the
agree.
case, technically it would cost a lot more money to put somebody on food stamps just based off of the collective alone. And on that note, right? If we're talking about lazy fuck who doesn't want to go out and get a job and pay for his own dues so that he can be able to get what he needs, which would be, food and housing and so on and so forth, right? Then what you're proposing to me is basically a lose-lose situation here. It basically coming in a form of, simply because this is going to happen anyway. This is what's inevitably going to happen is that he's going to end up, stealing and causing all these other issues anyway. So we might as well just give him the benefit of the doubt by allowing him to, by using our money to pay for his
but
shit.
hold on, right?
Well,
Like
deal with it.
I'm just offering a hypothetical, right? Obviously the opposite could be the case, but I'm just offering like under the basis of the hypothetical. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the hypothetical, right, what does food stamps pay for? It pays for food, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what does jail pay for?
It pays for housing and all that other shit.
It pays for everything, doesn't it?
Basically
Water,
everything.
sewage, electricity, food. So it's fair to say that if they're in jail, it costs them more than to just give food stamps.
Sure, but again, how much would it cost? How much does that cost currently versus how much it would cost to put somebody in prison currently? Like the
It's
amount of people who
more.
are.
You agreed that it's more.
Wait. You're missing the point. The amount of people who are on government assistance right now versus the prison population. How much is it costing us right now? It's not. Food stamps is costing us more than paying for the
Yeah,
prison
because there's
population.
millions more Americans on food stamps than they are in jail. But
Right.
your
What I'm saying
argument is
we.
if they
No, no,
just
no, no,
go
no,
to
no.
jail.
No. That's not my argument, right? My argument is that this person should be encouraged, should be further incentivized to actually get a freaking job so he can pay for his own stuff
Wait,
instead of stealing everybody else's stuff.
I
Not
don't
giving,
disagree
giving
with that.
no, wait. So that's the premise that I was coming from in the first place. Like I wasn't
No,
like I
you
would
went
argue
on a
I was being-
premise saying that government assistance should not be incentivized. But there are
Right.
instances of government assistance where the incentivization causes society to be better. And you agreed with education, you agreed with the Pell Grant, and so I'm just showing you another instance where it
and I
makes
disagree.
it better.
I disagree with the amount
And
of people that are on food
in
stamps.
terms of food stamps. Food stamps is one of the most successful policies that have ever been created from the United States government,
Right.
save for
Right.
like Social Security. It's like insanely successful. And not only that, it helps pull people out of poverty and it lowers overall crime because now people aren't running around stealing just to get basic necessities. They can get food.
Now, do you see? Now, this is where I'm arguing from. There are far more people who are on wealth, not welfare, who are on food stamps right now, right? Than there should be. Now, you have certain people who are on food stamps for a certain amount of time that could range from possibly like 5 to 10 years, right? Now, in our current economy, as shit as it is, I don't think it would take that long for you to be able to acquire or to be able to accumulate that much of wealth for you to be able to make ends meet via your own level, right? And not via the level of what everybody else as a society is providing you, right? What I'm arguing from is that nobody is obligated to my money. That's what I'm saying, right? And based
Nobody
off of
is
that,
obligated to your money?
no, I'm obligated to my money.
Really?
Nobody's obligated to my money. I worked for my money. I got my own money through my own labor. So to say that I have to pay for somebody else's food, right, when they have the ability to get their own food is batshit. That's the problem. I'm not looking for nobody to pay for my shit. That's what I'm saying.
So are you against taxation?
I'm against the amount of taxation that we're in right now. I will say that.
Hold on, that wasn't my question.
I'm not against taxation. I'm against the level of taxation that we are in right now. Americans, on average, are getting taxed at an excruciating level, in which I would argue is what's contributing to the reason why we have a lot of Americans who are hardly able to make ends meet. Now, Amender, answer me this: within the last 10 years, has the how many people has the homeless within the past decade has the homelessness rate increased or decreased?
You're talking in the United States?
In the United States, yes.
I actually don't know that off the top of my head.
It's increased within the past decade. It's gotten worse. Far, far worse.
Let's take a look here.
And we've had government assistance in the form of food stamps and welfare, so on and so forth, for how long? Since Lyndon B?
The question is whether or not that you observe that food stamps doesn't have a net positive income, right? Like I'm showing you're showing me a fire and I'm presenting to you a fire hose, and because the fire hose doesn't cover all of the fire, you're like, get rid of the hose. It doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm not saying get rid of the hose. I'm saying fix the hose.
Okay,
Hey,
but then you're
that's
not
the
against. But then you're
point.
not against
Either
food
fix,
stamps, and you're
either
not
fix,
against
either fix the
taxation
whole.
either.
Again, I never said that I was against it, Amanda. You're missing the point. With taxation, I'm against how much we are being taxed. With food stamps, I'm against how many people are using food stamps. That's
Chat,
insane.
am I
The fact,
losing my mind? I could have sworn
no,
you
you're
said you didn't
not.
like taxes.
We can lose. No, I said I'm against how much we are taxed. I said that from the get go. What are you talking about? Come on now. I've been saying that from the jump.
I
What do you
don't.
mean?
I feel like your original argument of government assistance should not be incentivized. I'm giving you examples where it is
Right. I
beneficial. You
read
seem to
more.
be agreeing that it is beneficial, but you just don't like how much you're being taxed. Which,
No, no, no,
fine, fair
no. Okay,
enough. That's a
okay,
different
okay.
discussion entirely.
Right.
But the question
Let me
is whether or
characterize
not
my
that's
argument.
a thing.
Let me characterize my argument better, right? Because granted, being in the game, I'm not as artistic as you are. So I'm not able to be able I'm not that good at formulating my own argument in the middle of a game like you are. All right? So let me oh, just hear me out, right? Oh my
Okay.
god, I'm stopping. Um the Jesus Christ, leave me alone, bro. God damn it.
All right, Bonji.
All
Well,
right.
I'll give you I'll give you the last word, and then
Yeah,
I'm
and then
going
I'll
to move
dip.
on to the next person. Okay. But I really
Oh yeah,
appreciate you joining because this has been fun.
no,
I
no,
really enjoy having
no
our
problem. I'll be here
conversations.
next.
So there's that.
I'll
Also,
stop in next
hi,
Thursday.
Base God Flashy. Hi, Sate Diem. It is good to see you all. I'm very glad that y'all have made it. Anyway, sorry. So
No, you're good.
go ahead. I'll let you have
Um,
the last word.
yeah. So all I'm gonna say is this: what I'm saying with the taxation bit is that we are taxed too much. We need to fix the amount of taxes that we are putting under our Americans. Obviously, taxes are needed and taxes can help, but when we're overtaxing our Americans, this is what's going to be one of the main contributing factors as to why you have so many Americans today who are struggling. I'm not against food stamps. As a matter of fact, I'm not against welfare in general, right? What I'm against is the amount of people that are under welfare because there's an argument that could be made that the vast majority of the people who are under welfare right now or any form of of any form of welfare are possibly don't even need it in the first place, right? They have the ability to be able to acquire what it is that they can acquire off of their own merit if they were to actually pursue what it is that they're looking to pursue in the first place. We don't need to keep paying off every single American's issue, right? At some point, we have to end up incentivizing accountability between every American so that they can be able to achieve what it is that they can achieve based off of their own merit and not out of the pockets of every other American that's also dealing with these struggles as well. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha, man.
I'll dip.
All right.
GG's.
All right. And so we're going to bring in the next person here. Let's see what we got here. We're going to bring in Soybean. They just raised their hand, so we're going to invite them to speak.
Hey, dude.
What's up? How you doing, Soybean?
I have some bad news for you, man.
What you got?
So, oh, hey, it's you were saying earlier that people on food stamps and crime. You're welcome. Negatively correlate, but that's not true. The number of people on food stamps has been sawtooth trend increasing since I don't know, was it like the 60s or 70s or some
Yes,
shit.
when
And
more
then
people
crime has also
are
been increasing.
struggling. Yes, when people tend to struggle more, they
Uh-huh.
tend to go on the public assistance. And
Okay,
again, if
what's
people
crazy
are
is
poorer,
crime rates
crime
were
also
lower.
does increase.
Crime rates were lower when people were poorer 100 years ago. In some cities
Do you
that are
think
now.
crime is up? Actually, yeah, that's actually a good question. Is
So
crime up?
what's
Is
crazy?
crime-
Hold on, what's crazy? No. Crime is up. It's a sawtooth. So you don't look at like the immediate rate. You don't look at the rate, the immediate rate. You have to look at like the whole trend. And right now it seems, it looks like it's
Well, what
sawtooth
specific
up.
crime rate are you looking for? Theft?
I mean, I think it's across the board, but then there are some that are rising more than others, and then there are how they define crimes. It can create like this weird thing where you're just basically like unaware of certain things that people are doing because you're not measuring for it. But generally, yeah, it's like crime across the board seems to be increasing, despite the fact that the number of people on food stamps are also increasing. And if you're saying that like, well, poverty is what explains the crime, how do you explain that some cities like some cities in New York that are right now extremely high in crime rates, plus it's also extremely high like in percentage of people on food stamps. Those cities, those same cities that we're seeing now with like high crime and high food stamp rates, 100 years ago, they were poorer than they were today, yet their crime rate was much lower. So I would say like, no, there's probably other stuff going
Crime
on,
is
dude.
down.
Crime is down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like what do you mean it's down?
Like, I mean, we can look at thefts, we can look at violent crime, we can look at murder. It's down.
Okay, so do you know what a sawtooth trend is?
You can tell me about it. I don't know.
It's like the stock market. It's not like just one line. It's going to have like it looks like a sawtooth increasing or decreasing. So it's like oh geez, it's just like the stock market graph. It's like a bunch of, you know, it goes up and down in like a span of a week, but then over the span of like a month, it'll be going up, and within a span of a year, it'll be going up. Even though it has like areas where it'll go up and down within a day.
What particular
Or within a week.
crime statistic are you looking for?
I think it was 2023 FBI statistics.
FBI crime statistics estimates for 2022 show that the national violent crime has decreased an estimated 1.7% in 2022 compared to 2021. Murder and non-negligent manslaughter recorded in 2022 estimated nationwide decrease of 6.1%. In 2022, the estimated number of offenses that revised the rape category saw an estimated 5.4% decrease. Aggravated assault in 2022 has decreased an estimated 1.1% in 2022. Robbery has showed an estimate increase of 1.3% nationally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say it seems to be a sawtooth trend. Maybe it's going down for violent crimes, but, you know.
Okay.
But yeah.
So let me ask you this. If we suddenly, like, pushed people off of food stamps, do you think that this would increase or decrease crime?
Well, it would be hard to say. In some parts of the
I think that's
it would probably have different effects. Yeah, it would probably have different effects depending on where you are. I know in some cities where they have like a really good handle on, where law enforcement has like a really good handle on people, like you would probably see like an initial spike, but then you'd probably see like, you know, less of an increase in areas where law enforcement basically doesn't do anything about, you know, like retail theft.
Okay. Well, okay. So I agree with you. I think that that police should do something about retail theft, because I think that, like, a working society, it is basically a requirement to have like the right of private property, which includes even like little things such as food and clothing and things that people sell. I think you actually can have a working society without that.
I think the best cities to compare this in California is going to be Orange County and like Los Angeles, and then see what retail theft rates and the cost of I guess the cost of firms to do business in the cities of Los Angeles County and then like Orange County.
Okay. My main concern is and I don't know if you answered the question or not. I don't think you did. You said, do you think that crime would increase or decrease under food stamps? You said you're not sure. Why would you not be sure about that? I can tell you guaranteed what the answer is to that.
There are, what's crazy is that like
I
there
don't
are
have
cities.
to do any math to determine that one.
No, there are some cities in the United States where people have gone more on food stamps historically. Not, I don't know about very recently, but then the crime rate has also increased. So I don't
agree.
think there's.
When more people go on food stamps, that's because there's more poor people, and when there's more poor people, there's increased crime.
I don't think that's always the case. I think if you have poor people, yeah, poor people are more likely to do crime, but that doesn't. They're not like guaranteed to do crime. I think poor people in areas where, for some reason, yeah, you can have poor people that don't do much crime in the same areas where you have like a poor neighborhood where there is a lot of crime. Usually, poor areas with a lot of crime is just a handful of people doing most of the crimes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question again because I just feel like you have not answered it. You honestly don't know whether or not that it would increase crime or not if you removed food stamps.
It would probably. I mean, I said it would probably increase crimes. In some areas, you'll see sharp increases. In other areas, you would see significant less. You would see less increases, and maybe in some areas you might even see decreases. But over the system as a whole, probably you would see an increase in crime.
Yeah. So, like, if there's more crime, right? Probably you got to take people to jail, right? When they commit the crime.
You don't have to take them to jail.
I mean, are there instances where you take them to jail?
I mean, you can, but that's kind of a cost. It's kind of expensive.
I agree.
I mean, I guess you could just do what Singapore does.
It's expensive having a
just
bunch of
beat
police
people.
and policing people and, you know, arresting them because they're hungry and they're stealing food.
Well, would you agree that instead of like wasting their time and taxpayers, what if we just give them like a caning on the street? I think some countries actually do this, and like I don't know, it probably has like a slight deterrence effect.
Have you ever heard of something called MVPF?
I haven't. What is that?
MVPF is the marginal value of public funds. So basically it's a little bit of a math equation. It is basically looking at the governmental or the benefit of the program versus the net government cost. And there are instances where the program itself ends up actually paying for itself in the long run. And MVPF shows that. One good example of this is food stamps because it reduces crime. It reduces less litigatory costs. It is less costs on the law system, and it is less people going to jail.
I don't
The
think
end
food
result
stamps
is,
are
yes,
causal
the
to
food
crime.
stamps themselves cost money, but it actually ends up being a net positive for the United States.
Okay, so we're gonna go in a circle, but I was saying like, okay, how do you explain that crime and people on food stamps has increased since like the 60s, and then maybe
When there
violent
are
crimes
more
are on
poor
a decline
people,
now?
that means that there is more crime. Also, when there are more poor people, that does also mean that there are more people on food stamps. You agreed
I guess
earlier saying that by removing food stamps, it does increase crime. So
Yeah,
I
but,
agree with you. Yes, when
maybe.
people are poor, they tend to commit more crime. And yes, they also increase themselves on food stamps. But by removing it, you make it worse. And not only that, it
pretty
ends
sure
up
you could get-
costing more than just having the food stamps to begin with.
So I guess how about this? I think I'm sure, man, how do I explain this? Not everyone's the same. So I guess if some people get a little bit of help, they'll be on their feet, and then you have to just keep giving more and more help, and then more and more people get off of their feet. But then there's going to be a group of people that are so entrenched in what they're doing, they're not going to get on their feet no matter how much you help them. And I guess what I would like people to think about is maybe find other ways than just food stamps to get poor people to stop committing crimes.
Okay, sure. So you would say that there is like a cost of benefit analysis to this then, right?
Probably, yeah. I mean, you could do a cost benefit analysis for literally anything
So,
once
like-
you define what your parameters are.
Yeah, so like one example is the MVPF. We can look at the cost to benefit ratio in that term. And so if it shows that it has a very high MVPF, then certainly it makes sense to spend our money on that, because that means that the policy is being used for something that actually outputs to even more benefit. for pretty much everybody.
Who makes the
Everybody
MV?
wins.
Who calculates the MVPF?
I can give you the exact calculation. I actually
No,
posted
just
inside chat
who, like,
the
what?
policyimpacts.org. I'll go ahead and show you the MVPF. Give me one quick second.
No. I'm just worried that if you're saying that you can measure cost versus benefit,
It's basically comes from it's a very prestigious economic journal that looks at like what is like the actual economic impacts of public policy. And one of the things that it looks at is, whether or not that like, does it actually turn a profit? Can it actually do something that it benefits society as opposed to not having it? And I
Okay,
think that's a really smart way to go to like making sure that we have effective policy as opposed to ineffective policy.
I mean, that's fine and all, but I'm just worried that if they define, if they are extremely, if they're more restrictive on what constitutes cost and they're more accepting of what constitutes benefit, then you can see how this can lead to like.
I mean, I can run you through the numbers if you're interested in that. Like,
no, I don't care about that. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
That doesn't sound very interesting. I'm just saying, like, hey, I mean, are they accounting what people could be doing with that money if they didn't? If they like, what is the opportunity cost of leaving that money inside of people's like possession, in the hands of private citizens? Like, they probably don't do that, and I'm just thinking, like, well, go ahead.
I mean, I can give you an example I could give you a graph that shows like various government programs and the MVPF of those. Would that help?
No, I'm not here I don't care about looking at the data. What I'm trying to, I guess this is rhetorical. It's just that if they're not accounting opportunity costs of what could have been done with that money, then then it's just like cool. Like they're just gonna, you can make anything seem like it's a net benefit.
Or
you can make anything seem like it's a net.
MVPF. It actually has to financially show that it works. You can't just, it will have a negative MVPF. And in which case there needs to be additional justification as to why you're investing in something that has a negative MVPF.
Oh, how about this? What are things that are considered to have a negative MVPF?
I can
if
pull
any.
it up. There are.
Sweet. If they can do that,
so
then
it's actually interesting. Like one thing that often has a negative MVPF is when it involves older people. And the reason why is because the older people, they really can't, they're not really paying into the taxes. And so any money that is being like generated, like it's basically just being spent on the old person. And so like, they're not really going to see a whole lot of benefit off of that because they die. And so the end result is that it ends up being a negative MVPF. This doesn't mean don't take care of old people, by the way. It's just, there needs to be a good justification as to why you have a negative MVPF and yet we're still spending that money.
Okay. You want to move on to a hot take that I have?
Sure.
I think that food drives in the United States are a scam because if you're food drives for the needy and the poor in the United States are a scam. Because if you're poor, you're more likely to be fat / overweight and have type 2 diabetes.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
I think that food drives for the needy in the United States are a scam because if you're poor, you're more likely to be obese and have type 2 diabetes.
If you go to a food, you're more likely to have type 2 diabetes?
No. I said food drives for the poor are a scam because poor people in the United States are more likely to be obese. Statistically, they're more likely to be obese and they're more likely to have type 2 diabetes.
Are you saying that like they should just eat less?
I'm saying we shouldn't be giving them more food.
So we should get rid of food drives?
I mean, I don't know if we should get rid of them, but they seem to be like they kind of don't make sense logically, right?
What? No,
right?
they do
Logically, it doesn't make sense, right?
There are hungry people.
Why though?
Because people are hungry.
Is hungry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if someone's hungry, they should just eat food. Is that basically what your take is?
Well, I mean, I get like you want to be like considering your nutrition and you got to be also considering like what's your intake. But I mean, at the same time, like I'm not gonna sit there and dog on somebody because they're like poor and they're hungry. I think food drives are a good thing, even if they're fat and they have type 2 diabetes.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's counterproductive. It might be harmful.
I don't know what to say to that. Like, what am I supposed to do?
I mean, statistically, like, just use logic and reason, dude. Just look at the stats, and it's like true, right? So therefore,
I mean,
isn't the logical thing to be
it's
like
a problem
getting rid
of
of drugs?
like. I mean, it's true that when you're poorer, you tend to have you tend to be fatter. There's a positive correlation of people being fat and poor, which is a shame. In the well, actually, it's interesting. It's an inverse effect from
And
a lot of
alcoholism rates are higher
countries.
too,
Yes.
and like gambling addiction is also higher among poor people.
So, I mean, I can agree with you that there's instances where it's like it's harmful to eat even if you're hungry, but at the same time, like I think that's like up to the individual to make that decision. Like I don't think you're going to be able to coerce or create an environment, say for like I don't know, a gulag system in getting people to lose weight that way. Yeah.
Don't you think it's like
think
really
I think it's
detrimental
awful
to society
what you're
when you
arguing.
have a bunch of poor people, like that then have to like go to the hospitals, and because they're poor, their their medical costs are basically just like taking care of people like you and me who are responsible enough to like take care of
Whoa,
ourselves.
Based, are you arguing for a single payer healthcare system? Oh, Based, dude, me too.
No, I think we should actually ration healthcare, and then if a person like it just exceeds their healthcare for the year, then it's just like, well, too bad.
I mean, there's rationing of healthcare on single payer systems, but again, like what I'm interested in is like people have access to their healthcare, as opposed to not, right?
I don't know. I think we need to ration it more. If I remember correctly, it's like over half of healthcare spending. Okay, so over half of the healthcare costs are. It's like made by like 5% of patients or some shit like that. Like those people should get their healthcare ration.
I brain farted. What?
So like, I think it's like healthcare spending or healthcare costs. Essentially, I forget how they calculate this. I don't know how they calculate it, but there was this statistic being thrown around where it's like 50% of healthcare costs are being generated by like 5% of the patient population. And I was just like, wait a second, that sounds like a really bad thing.
Okay.
It sounds like the 5% of the patients are making the system as a whole unusable for the rest of the people. I feel like for the good of the collective, we should ration those people. Well, those people should just get their healthcare cut off at a certain point. Otherwise, you're just gonna harm everybody else.
Can I ask, what if you were that person?
Oh, and then I would want everybody's money, and I would want to be the king, and I would want to be the tyrant, and then like everybody just has to do what I say.
I want you to.
But
be serious
fortunately,
here.
we don't. No, but fortunately, we don't like give people what they want individually. We consider what's good for society.
Well,
Even if
I mean, I get it, but like there's like a cutoff point, right, for like every individual, right? We would respect the right of life of like reasoning individuals, correct? Like they have a brain, they can think. Like you are placing no value on this.
No. In principle, yes, but like you have to understand, like the people that like end up having. The people that suffer as a result of this, they also have brains, and they're also thinking individuals. You have to care about those people too.
Also, would you say that like the 5% are they like using it, or would you say that they're abusing it?
I forget what it was. I think no, it's not abuse. It's just the 5% are literally just old as shit, and like they're particularly expensive to keep alive. But for some reason, it's like they're being kept alive.
I mean, maybe it's possible somebody is abusing it. It is also possible that somebody is just using it. And I think that like we should hold our empathy towards all human beings.
Theoretically, yes, but then we live in an environment where scarcity is real. So it's like you can have all the empathy that you want.
Have scarcity, we live in a modern economy, thankfully, so we don't have to deal with, the extreme levels of scarcity of the 20th century. I mean,
there's scarcity in all societies, but what I'm trying to
Yes,
say
I
is that, like,
agree
yeah,
in
if
saying
there's
that
a
like
whole-
we don't deal with scarcity anywhere close to what is historically relevant in terms of scarcity.
like Amender, you care about everyone, right? But then you only have a fixed amount of dollars that you can donate to charity, and the chances are you're not just going to take like $500 and split that among 1,000 charities, giving them 50 cents a piece. That wouldn't make sense. You would probably just choose a handful of charities and just give a meaningful amount. So that's the kind of scarcity that I'm talking about. I'm not saying that like we're
So
literally
we would look at our.
we don't live in like
we
a
would look
jungle.
at merit,
What I'm saying is
we would look at like systems that we know output to a benefit, fund that, and then don't fund the things that don't do that.
yeah, and I think the healthcare system, like the five whatever the hell percent it was either 5 or 10% of people that of patients that generate like over half of the cost. Like those people are clearly not benefiting us at all.
I just don't understand your argument at this point. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do with this.
Consider. I think we should accept the reality that healthcare is a limited resource and it's being disproportionately used by a small amount of people.
But hold on. But
who,
hold
as a result,
on.
are making
We have
healthcare in the United
universal.
States
There's universal
kind of
health care
unusable as a
through
whole.
any. There's universal health care through just about any modern system. The United States is one of the only ones that don't have this. And what makes this worse is that we spend more per person in healthcare than any other country. So we have worse policies and we have worse outcomes and it costs more.
So I think the reason why it costs people in the United States, why that ends up happening is because, well, your per capita measurement is going to increase when you have a small amount of people that have unusually high healthcare use or healthcare needs. So I'm going to tell you, like, yeah, and I think healthcare rationing is a thing that many countries already do anyway. I think the United States has a lot to learn from, it's like it's, I guess, it's peers. I guess we should
I got nothing
probably-
else to say
yeah.
to you, man. I'm sorry. I just like I agree we should have like a single payer healthcare system and it has been tried in other countries and it is successful. So like I'm going to go in that direction. I mean, Canada is wildly successful in terms of its and they even have insurance companies. So it's like I have no reason to say that couldn't be possible. And there's already groundwork that has been laid that's been relatively gutted by various insurance companies through Obamacare. But I think like if we just expand Obamacare, we can actually have those things. So anyway, that's where I stand with that.
Okay.
Anyway, it was good talking to you, man.
All right, I'll go back down into the audience. Will you take me down to the audience? My hands are kind of busy.
Sure thing, buddy.
Is that something that I would have to do?
I got you, buddy.
Thanks.
All right. If anybody wants to hop on up and speak, all you got to do is raise your hand. We could bring in Magnus here. It does look like Magnus wants to talk. How you doing, Magnus?
Hey, Amender. Oh,
What's up?
pretty good. I mean, I was listening to you like the whole time, and pretty interesting discussion you had here with Bungie and Soybean. I mean, but I wanted to address like some stuff for Soybean. We're seeing like he was directly making some weird causalities where more like correlations around. I mean, like I'm pretty sure like not food stamps are the problem. The food is the problem. Like that people are getting fat. It's like that the food is unhealthy. And mostly unhealthy food is cheap food, and cheap food is something that can buy poor people. So I would say they're a bigger problem. I mean, I think like if food stamps would work the way that like you could buy like more healthy food from it, that would actually helping with the like overweight problem. And poor people
Well,
also tend to be.
Interestingly enough, people are currently foregoing fast food. because it is expensive now. Interestingly, yes. In the United States, it has gotten much more expensive, and as a result, there's a lot more people that are. I swear to fucking God, this Chuckster. Sorry. Yes, so there's a lot less people that are eating fast food. With that being said, I mean, the United States has some problems regarding food deserts. This doesn't mean that people go hungry, but it does mean that people have access to low quality food. And I think that that there are ways to resolve that. I'm sure, but those are just different discussions entirely.
And I wanted also to say something to Bungie, like about his like poor people like should easily getting a job. I mean that's not that easy. I mean a lot of poor people grow up in poorness, so they grow up in the lack of education. It's like there's the education only in school. I mean when I was growing up, I mean I remember my parents both educated academics, and like on the evening table we were speaking about politics, about history and everything. They were nothing like about football or soccer or any other sports. Everything was like it was like learning on the evening eating table. And that's a big difference. I mean, like when you only source is like school, and I mean we can see it here. It's the same thing in Germany with poor people. Like they grow up in an environment where they are just grow up with the victim mentality. Like I'm poor and so I don't know it, and I will be poor for the rest of my life, and my family is poor since 3 generations. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, these people grow up with a depression.
Sure.
And I think like it's not like helping that. I think like we would doing more like in giving these people opportunities and giving these people more. That we invest more into education and investing more into courses and lessons where these people actually got teach that there's a way out of poorness.
Sure.
I know the problem is that we actually not having much where we disagree. But I think like it's not that easy like these black or white, or like that there's the people coming around with, oh look at this.
Well, there are solutions that work. It's just there's a lot of people that they just think government should get out of the way. And I just don't think that that's
the
solution.
No.
I just think that it depends. Sometimes it's government get out of the way, but other times it's like, no, not literally the exact opposite. And so that's kind of where I stand with things.
No, I'm not growing up poor. I have a lot of friends who grew up poor, and I was like seeing like this kind of mentality around them. I was growing up actually not really poor. I mean, we had a horse, we had 4 dogs, we were living in a house. So I would say we were middle class.
Base God Flashy says subsidies for healthy food and excise taxes for junk food. They're not inherently wrong about that. But I'll be honest with you. I think like people are just gonna. I think like if you do create like an excess tax on junk food, I think you're just gonna end up with a poor tax. It's kind of like if you were to like suddenly just start taxing sugar. I agree with you. Sugar is like is pretty bad for people, and that like we want to like reduce the overall sugar intake. But the problem with this is that sugar is in everything, and so if you increase the price of sugar, then that would increase the price for everybody, for everything, every single product.
I mean. Yeah. I mean, sugar is like a lot of products inside, especially because it's making products able to conserve. I mean, like.
Anyway, we should move over. Let's see if we have anybody. Is there anybody that wanted to also talk? If not, I'll just go ahead and continue.
You really want to get rid of me, huh?
Well, it's not that Well, here's my issue. I don't think. Listen, I don't have an issue with you or anything. The problem is that the accent is so heavy that
Ew, my accent isn't that hard.
No, it's heavy. I don't hate you or anything.
Ask the people in your chat. Is my accent that awful?
Is his accent too heavy? I'm asking chat. Anybody wants to? Your accent is great. Okay, fine.
I don't know. I mean, I have shown you people from Germany who are talking like a strong accent, and they're pronouncing the letters literally in German. I don't pronounce the letters in German. That would be sound way different.
Rock Spinard says sounds fine to me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just the weirdo. That's fine.
No, you just no. The problem is that you just remember me when I still had the accent. I had the accent once,
My dude,
but
you
that's
have a heavy accent.
not that strong than before.
You have a big never mind. I'm not going to get stuck on the accent.
That's something with you. You are weird.
Yeah, I got weird parts about me, I guess.
Everyone likes my accent. Everyone likes my voice. It's only you.
Well, all right. I'll upload a video. Is there anything, dude? Okay, how about this, dude? You were loving on this Republican earlier today, and I was so upset. I was like, why is he arguing in this favor? This is just ridiculous. And then, by the way, just so you know, right? That same guy that you were siding with, right, immediately DM'd a black user on this Discord, and then and called them a hard N-bomb.
Bro, I just met him the first time, and he was sounding bass. So
Yeah. So hold on. I don't find like a person's decision to say that they hate feminism. They started talking disparaging about women. They started hating on black people and bringing up crime statistics and demographics.
wait. I wasn't there when that happened.
That's what they were doing. You were agreeing with him.
No. I was agreeing with him on the topic that the LGBTQ movement is not really.
Oh yeah, he was
supporting the
also
movement.
anti-LGBTQ. Great.
Bro, I was only agreeing that like the way like that the LGBTQ movement is like also in Germany. I mean like that the people who is already agree with it, they agree with it, and the other people accept it. But when they do their parties like the CSD Christopher Street Day March in Frankfurt or something, it's like a big love parade who is like fancy feather and loud and annoying, and people running around naked, and everything they do is like making all these people who are undecided getting annoyed by them.
So
I just think it don't support the
do you
movement.
understand when they're like, when they say these things, right? The combination of these things, of all of the things, anti-woman, anti-LGBTQ, pro-Trump, they're just going to, they start shitting on women as well. They start shitting on trans people. As soon as I start seeing that, I'm like, all right, this is not a good person. This person is not interested in having a discussion, because as soon as, I guarantee you, as soon as I give pushback, immediate snowflake mode, immediate insults. And so what's interesting about this is that there was a black user, right, who apparently was realizing, because he was showing up as an alt, right? He showed up having like said being a Discord member since like 2 days ago. So obviously this person is ban evading, right? Do you understand how that works?
Yes.
Okay. He then
I
messages this
only met
user
him
who
for
is black,
2 minutes.
right? You could hear that the way they sounded, they were definitely black. They even self-espoused themselves as black. They said, "Why did you snitch on me, little F-bomb?" Just a hard F-bomb right there. And then he said, "KYS, F-bomb, N-word, Jimmy Lover." That's what they said.
Amanda, I was
You're
only
on that guy's
talking
side.
for 5 minutes. I was talking 5 minutes with that guy.
I'm just
And
saying,
everything he
right?
said
Like
was not that
I
hard.
calls it like I sees them, right? Like there are people that are just around that they're not interested in having a debate. They're not interested in having a discussion. All they want to do is spread hate, That's what they're interested in. They don't care. They could be fucked anything else. They don't care. It's not something they're concerned with. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Don't call me that.
I don't know. I'm feeling here like I'm in front of court and I have to defend myself
Hell
that
yeah,
I was
dude.
agreeing for 5 fucking minutes. 5 minutes I
Hell
was talking
yeah.
about that person.
You should have to defend. Oh my God, no, no! Fuck, bloody fucking Chuckster. I hate this minigame.
Calmer, hits fast. Calmer is a bitch, huh?
Is there anybody like okay? I'm staunchly pro LGBT, staunchly, right? I believe in it so much. I think it is so important. And when there's somebody who's just anti-LGBT like that, I'm just like fucking. I'm so upset. I get so upset just thinking about it. I really do. What do you think about that?
I'm not against LGBTQ. I'm only think that like that the movement somewhere lost its path and lost its rationality and
Where do you think
probably
it lost
there.
its path and rationality, would you say?
Do you have ever been seen how CSD
How what?
a Christopher Street Day? Google it.
I don't know anything about that.
Google it.
Is it okay if I use ChatGPT? Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Christopher Street Day is an annual celebration of the demonstration held in various European cities, primarily in Germany, to honor the LGBTQ+ community. It commemorates the Stonewall riots, which took place in June of 1969 at the Stonewall Inn at Christopher Street in New York City. These riots are considered a pivotal event in the fight for LGBTQ+ rights and liberation. The key aspects of Christopher Street Day include the historical significance, which commemorates the Stonewall riots, marked the beginning of the modern LGBTQ+ rights movement. The riots were a response to police raids and discrimination against the LGBTQ+ community. Celebration and pride. CSD events are festive, colorful parades featuring floats, music, dancing, and participants wearing vibrant outfits. The celebrations promote LGBTQ+ pride and visibility. Political demonstration. CSD also serves as a platform for political activism. Participants and organizers use the event to raise awareness about LGBTQ+ rights, advocate for equality, and protest against the decriminalization of injustices faced by the community. Inclusivity, international reach. Okay. So you're saying this is the point where it came too far?
No. That was only the description of what it is. You should see the pictures.
Okay.
That's why I said Google it. Searching for pictures from CSD.
It looks like a pride parade.
Yeah, but you have also these fetishized dog mask people, people who are clothed like horses and pulling wagons where someone is sitting in the wagon.
Are there kids involved?
Yeah, clearly everywhere, kids.
I'm saying, are there kids involved?
In which way?
Are there kids at these parades that have fetish
Yes.
gear? Okay.
No, that not that. They don't have fetish gear. But
Then what the fuck were you just talking about?
that they are people running around with fetish gear.
Yeah, I'm saying they have fetish gear, right? Are there kids there?
I mean, not that they're wearing that, but they are
No,
around them.
they're around that. Okay,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that there should be like a difference between NSFW and SFW parades. I agree. I don't think kids should be around grown men in fetish gear. Is that
And
what you
they-
wanted?
they're a lot of naked people, a lot of
Yeah. So I think that there should be I'm going to repeat it. because it also addresses that. I think that there should be safe for work gay parades and not safe for work gay parades. The not safe for work gay parades can't have kids. They are 18 plus. The safe for work is you can't be nude, you can't be in fetish gear, but you can go ahead and have your pride parade with kids. Do you see where I'm at with that?
Mm-hmm. But it's
does
just
that seem
the
like
way
an agreeable metric?
Yeah, but what I was saying was literally the same thing. I was only saying like the way they make it today.
Okay, well, I'm giving you an option. I'm saying like, okay, I agree with you. So why don't we address things that like matter in that aspect instead of like being anti-gay, I guess. Right? Because we can remove the part that's concerning, right? The kids' involvement, right? That's what people get concerned about. I agree. That's something you should be concerned about.
Agree.
Yeah, so under that stipulation, would you say that CSD would not go that far? That it's okay?
Totally fine.
Okay, yeah. Cool. I'm glad we got to agree. Did you have anything else for me?
No, it's that's I'm gonna down to the others. See you.
Okay. It was good talking to you, buddy. I'll even put up the YouTube video. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay. Now, if there's anybody that wants to raise their hand, you're welcome to do so. If you disagree with me on a particular topic, come on up. You're invited. All you got to do is raise your hand, and I'll bring you right up. We'll go ahead and have the discussion. You disagree with a Democrat on a particular subject? Then here I am. I'm very easy, I'm sure. Anyway, let me see here. What are we doing? Are the Piantas in need? Piantas in need. Okay. I think like they're just going to be in like a bunch of gunk here, but let's see what we got. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh shit, I only have 3 minutes. Okay. Yeah, man, I see what you're posting in the side chat there. The dog mask. Yeah, okay, I agree. You shouldn't have kids nearby that. That's fine, right? I have a distinction between what I would call safe for work and not safe for work parades, and I think that if you have a not safe for work content, you shouldn't have kids at that parade. Very simple. It's not hard. That's not anti-gay. That is an argument just like, hey, let's have some decency around kids. Kids shouldn't be around sex stuff. But that's a far cry as to whether or not that people should be able to celebrate LGBTQ plus parades. They are saying this is out. Dude, if you want to have a discussion, just raise your hand. No, thank you. Okay. Looks like we got a Soybean who's requesting to speak again. I'll go ahead and bring you up.
Oh, I just want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people should be allowed to buy alcohol with their food stamps?
No,
Why?
because it's harmful.
Do you think they should be allowed to buy soda with food stamps?
Yes,
Why?
because it's not as harmful
Okay. So,
as alcohol.
So if someone who uses their food stamps, and all they do is just buy like soda with it, like Coca-Cola with it, plastic. Do you think like maybe they should cut him off at some point and say go buy some like
Nope.
vegetables instead?
Nope.
Why not?
Because it's their choice. I think it should be their choice. That's what's so effective about food stamps, is because every individual ends up deciding what they want, and it ends up being very successful. It does the job that it's supposed to do. Generally speaking, just so you know, people don't really like just buy soda and then walk along their way. They usually do other things. Yeah.
I don't know what they actually buy. I mean, I could go to my local grocery store and just like catalog what people on food stamps are buying.
You won't even be able to tell because the SNAP benefits card looks just like a credit card.
I thought it like looked different.
Nope.
Well,
They
it's fine.
specifically make
I'll
it
just
not
check
look
out.
different, so that way people don't harass them about it.
Isn't it just like a bank? No, damn it. Oh, I'm looking at
It's
California's
a card
golden
that has
standard
money
ad.
on it.
Yeah, I guess each one looks different, depending on what state.
It's based. It's a good thing. It makes societies better by having that. I like better societies. Hey, you know what I care about the most, right? You already know. You know what I care about the most.
Good thing, goodness.
No. What I care about in a society the most is going to be, I want people to be able to live the thing that makes them, allows them to do the things that they could do. Make it easier for them to do those things. Facilitate it, if you will. A society that allows more of those versus less is a better society.
Okay.
Right? So I make conceited efforts and actions to make that a reality. Got anything else?
I don't think so. No, I guess not. I just wanted to ask you about that question. That was about it.
Yeah,
All
man.
right, man. Take care.
Yeah, it was a good talk. What are you doing, Pepper? What's my timer at? Now, if anybody has any question whatsoever, they want to have a discussion, they want to get into an argument with a bona fide Democrat, I'm right here. I'm more than happy to hear your argumentation. If you have an issue with me, bring it up. Let's hash it out. You'll find that I am a reasonable person. Flashy says, you explicitly cannot buy beer or cigs with an EBT card. You also cannot buy hot foods. When I worked at deli, some people would specifically request a cold sandwich so their EBT would work. That's interesting. I'm curious as to why would they not allow buying hot foods? I don't exactly understand the reasoning behind that. If somebody could give me the answer as to why they do not allow buying hot foods, that's a weird, that would be a weird question there, I suppose. Can I just say, where the fuck is this, oh, blue coin. From Depth Charge Media, if government is going to give people money to buy food, the government should probably seriously limit the types of products they can buy, since the government has inserted itself into feeding people with food paid for with our taxes. I agree with you, and there do exist like negative foods, and I think like sugar is very close to that. I think soda is very close to that, but I don't think it's like to the point of, let's say, like alcohol or cigarettes. It's like alcohol and cigarettes isn't really, it's not there for your like nutrition or anything. And so the food stamps are there to make sure that you get a decent nutrition, or at least you have something that you're getting, so like you can live your life. But I am genuinely curious. Here, I love ChatGPT. I'm just going to ask ChatGPT. Let's see what it says. What is the reasoning why you cannot buy hot foods with an EBT card? Like, what would it matter if it's like hot or... Okay. The program intent. SNAP benefits are intended to help low-income individuals and families buy food to prepare at home, promoting nutritious and cost-effective meals. Allowing the purchase of hot prepared foods could shift the focus away from this primary goal. Cost efficiency. Prepared hot foods are typically more expensive than raw ingredients. The restriction helps ensure that beneficiaries can stretch their benefits further by purchasing raw ingredients to prepare meals themselves rather than spending more on ready-to-eat foods. I think I get this argument, right? Because it's like, if it's like a hot food, then they likely wouldn't be able to like, they would be able to go to like fast food or something and just eat it there. Which, like, yeah, I kind of agree with that, right? Like, I don't think we should like be like subsidizing like McDonald's. Do you see what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. That's kind of an interesting thought, though. I haven't really thought of that. But hey, add to my lexicon of knowledge, please. I really, really like it. My cat is scraping at my knee. What is it, Bubba's? She's being a little brat. She's right there. I'm just petting her. Let me see if I can. This is Cat. Say hello to Cat. She's very angry. You could see. She's like, "Why are you touching me?" Ugh. Don't. Okay. My God, she's angry. She's very angry right now. Be careful. She's very upset. She hissed at me. That was crazy. She normally doesn't do that. But no, she was upset. I don't know what was upsetting her, but you know. Everyone's just like, kitty. Yeah, she's a little sweetie. She's my little gremlin. I love her very much. We got a Magnus who wishes to speak again. Come on up, Magnus.
Now you welcome me.
Yeah, man. I mean, if the people spoke, the people have spoke.
They have spoke about what?
They have spoken. They seem to like you. What's
I
up,
mean,
man?
I wanted to add a point. I mean, I don't have like yeah, on a CSD like the context is sexually, but what it come like to like if it would go people go to swimming, I don't care if they run around naked. I mean, it have no sexual context. But that's something you guys will never understand. That's like German free body culture. Has something to do with freedom.
I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, my dude. You with me?
What is by the way, what is that with your cat?
What do you mean? What's with my cat?
I mean, bro, I have a cat too, and I don't call it Babas or something. I mean, I
love my kitty. I just do that. I'm sorry. I love my cat. Like, hi,
I see
puppy. I love her. She's great.
It's kind of weird to watch
really
that.
weird?
Like, I mean, she was not really angry. I mean, come on, you got not even a scratch from it.
No. She just got annoyed.
I mean, my male cat always wants to play. I mean, when I'm touching him at the wrong place, he directly gives me the claw, bro.
Oh, that's crazy. I
mean,
my cat,
he
she was
was-
gnawing on me for a bit.
He was play fighting with my auntie, which were coming to visit me, and he was
Salt
biting
DM
her
says
hand.
It's not weird. Salt DM says it's not weird. See, it's not weird. I should be able to
Okay.
baby my cat.
Yeah, it's okay. But, see, my male cat was biting my auntie, and her hand get an infection. And
How did you can get? Oh, what, is the cat like an outdoor cat?
oh yeah.
Okay, all right,
Outdoor
that's why.
cat.
That's why. Yeah, my cat's an indoor cat. No infection. It's literally not possible.
But you're living in a house.
Yeah, my cat is an indoor cat. Like I said, she wouldn't be able to give you an infection because there is no infections.
I mean, yeah, he's eating mouses and everything what he's finding outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But the problem was from the beginning we got him when he was already an outside cat. So
Yeah, fair. Well, I mean, you could turn an outside cat into an inside cat, just so you know.
yeah, but see, we're also living in a house, and we were in summer mostly like open
You
like
just
the
let
door.
the cat in.
Yeah, no chance.
You could just let the cat in.
Bro, he was always bringing gifts, and that's the reason why
What,
I was
indoors?
closing my. Yeah, he was
Where?
bringing. No, he was
How?
he was going outside to be cat
Well, there's your
flat, and then
problem.
he
You're letting the cat outside. Why are you doing that?
and then he comes in with like a half mouse or
you
a
should,
half
you
rat.
should see how my cat is when I let her out.
She's probably scared.
I have like a little leash, right, that I give her. I'm like, here, we're going to go out into the backyard. And she is like, why is it hot?
Why is it hot?
She's
Oh,
like
God.
pressed up against the window. Like, why are we out here?
Kind of remembers a little bit to my
Yeah,
male
me?
cat.
Put me back inside.
He's doing the upper
She's
side.
clawing to get back in. And I'm like, we're just out here for a little bit, cat. I'm going to have my cigar and we'll go back inside. My cat is smushed against the window. Like, why doesn't it open?
To be honest, bro, my male cat is like the upper side. When it's raining outside, he's coming inside and meowing like I could change the fucking weather.
I love my cat. She's just very persnickety, right? Because you know how cats are, like, you know how they drink water?
Yeah.
Not my cat. She's like, I'm sorry, excuse me. I just couldn't help it but notice. This water is not flowing.
Oh my god.
If you could please make the water flow, it'll make it feel more fresh. Okay, all right. I'll buy you a fucking foo-foo fucking fountain thing. And I gotta like clean the fucking thing. And it's got like a charcoal filter and shit. It's like 15 minutes to clean this fucker. I buy Phil. She's got cleaner water than what I drink.
That's cats. That's cats, bro. I was like trying to sparing money and was buying cheap food. I was setting that in front of them, and they were looking at me.
this?
They were looking at me like I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
They only eat the most expensive food.
My cats bring me gifts too. I'm sorry. Rock Spinnerd says, my cats bring me gifts too. They're toys. They leave them on my work desk each night. Yes, my cat also does the same thing. What she will do is this trick. She'll take a toy. This is like a mom cat thing, I guess. She was like she had kittens at like 1 year old, and they just took her away from the kittens. And ever since then, she's just like, she's just like, all right, things that are alive around me are like my kittens. And so she like goes and gets a toy, and she puts it on my stairwell, and then you can hear her. Meow, meow, loud.
Oh my god.
Loud. And I'm like, my door is like cracked open, and I can hear her as if she's next to me. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I go over, and she's showing me the toy that she got, like she's feeding me. And I'm just like, yes, I know you did good.
The best thing is the male cat. He tends to, when I laying down my head around him, he starts to cleaning my head.
No. You should
He
definitely
puts his
do
claw-
more chill streams like this. Here's the thing. The part about me is I am not a chill person.
Oh, you are.
No. You think
You
that?
are. Yes.
You're out of your
You
fucking
can be
mind.
pretty chill, bro.
I don't think I'm a chill person.
I remember so many times we were chilling, like with Arnheim and other people, and where you playing games and we were just chilling and talking.
That's true.
Pretty comfortable.
Maybe. Hey, maybe there's something to it. Maybe I'll drop the whole debate thing.
I mean, you don't need to completely, but bring variation.
Yeah, bring in some variation, I think. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Salt DM says, oh yeah, it's Rez, by the way. Just call me Rez because it's hard to pronounce this name. Rez. See. Ah, yes, I see you there. Yeah. How you doing, Rez? Welcome.
Oh, well, I would like that. He's coming up.
Hey, if you want to come up, we got plenty of time. I got like an hour and 30 minutes. I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos. It's gonna be good.
And we're gonna sharing more cat stories.
What you think I should bring up?
Craziest thing
Yeah,
that
you know
you
what?
can ever
I'll bring up I'll do this video. Why not? So one. Okay. There's that one, and then we'll go ahead and 151. More discussion. Okay. Yo, where the fuck is this? Where's this Sprite? I don't know where this Sprite is.
Fight? Are you talking about your game?
Sprite, the game. I don't know where it is.
Oh, the Sprite. Wait, isn't that not something to drink?
Look it up. It's called Piantas in Need. Someone look it up. Help me. Help me. Help. Help. Help, chat. Help. I love you. Please. Help me.
Oh, you meaning Backseat Gaming?
Just tell me where the fucking Sprite is. It's called Pianta Village, Piantas in Need. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Do it.
I play
look it up.
Warframe, bro.
Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up.
I do not look it up. Ask your cat.
Meow. Meow. It's my cat.
That's so awful. That's all. My male cat, he tend to like when he's got bored, he start scratching at my fucking door. Oh, it's no fun. He's doing like something like 3 in the morning.
Did they ever figure out the door thing where they just like play with it and then pull it back and goes
I mean, I'm not
Do
sure.
you know what I'm talking about?
What I could...
I'm
What's
not
kinda
doing
funny
it
is-
justice. All right. Hold on. Let me see if I'm going to bring Eric Coke in.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I
put you
gotta
back
get it down.
down, okay? Eric Koch. Eric Koch, come on up. How you doing, buddy? You there? Eric? I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. I see green, but I cannot hear you. Someone help. Where the fuck is this goddamn Sprite, dude? I unironically cannot find it. I don't know where it is. ¿A dónde? ¿A dónde? Is it underneath? Do I have to talk to someone? Like, what? I'm such a moron. I'll just talk to these guys. Come here. Come here. No. So it turns out my brain is actually just square. I have a square brain. I didn't talk to the quest giver. All right, Eric, you want to give it another shot? Let's give it a shot.
You guys hear me now?
Sure can. What's up?
All right. Thanks.
What's your beef? Or discussion?
All right. My discussion is about criminal. My discussion is about about connecting social groups and crime. Like, why do certain racial groups or certain gender groups commit more crime? Like, for example, why do black people commit more crime than whites, or why do males commit more crime against women? And I already know the answer as to why. Like, am I like? Can you like clarify this answer for me? Is it true that black people are socioeconomically more poorer than white people are?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fallacy, or
No.
is it a false statement?
No, that's correct.
Okay, so does socioeconomic, if you're poor, let's say, so if you're poor, are you more likely to commit more crime than, let's say, a person who has more money?
Yep. Did you hear me?
All right.
I said yes.
Yeah, I can.
So what's your question?
My question is, why are black people so poor, and why are they economically down below? And is it an exaggeration to say that black people are so poor that they can't afford to live?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I going a bit too far?
Would you say that, do you think that there are rippling effects to slavery?
Rippling effects?
Yeah.
Like being being traumatized to do labor, as in like
Being
you don't want to do work.
traumatized?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like rippling effects, right? Like, let's say you end the slavery, right? Do you think that there could be additional effects there other than just ending slavery? Or you think like as soon as that slavery is ended, they're good to go? No more effort needed.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because once you don't have to work for nothing, then you're free, pretty much.
Okay, so do you think that education has a factor in the outcomes of your... I'm sorry. Do you think that education is a factor in the outcome of your success?
Of course. So like without education, you
Would you say
get no
that
knowledge.
having an educated set of parents who would, do you think that they are more or less likely to push you into a higher education if they're educated?
Like if they're in an educated family, or are you trying to say like if you're in an educated family, they're gonna like push you into like elite universities or colleges? Are you saying that? Well,
No, I'm saying like, do you
yeah.
think that like you're more or that you would be more or less likely if your parents are educated that you would go to college?
I mean, yes. I don't find it um, ironic because like educated families tend to send their kids into more higher education.
Yeah, they tend to do that, right?
Yeah.
Would you also say that going into higher education means you can get paid more?
Depends. Like depends on your field of experience. If you want to do certain jobs that pays you more wages and stuff, then that's up to you. What's your profession, that is? If you want to be a, let's say, if you want to be a plumber, then if you don't, rather than going to a college, then go to like a technical school where you get trained and get skilled for being a plumber, stuff like that.
All right. Give me a quick moment, okay?
Yeah.
So, if you look this up yourself, people who attain a degree, any degree, often end up getting paid more. And that's in 2024 numbers. Right?
Yeah.
Do you need me to provide stats for that? I mean, I could.
Sure, you can.
Or would you just take me at my word for that?
Well, no, you can provide me the stats as well, but
Mm-hmm.
you're right. Like, there's no denying that people with more degrees get more money, get more salary.
Okay. So here's the kicker. You agreed that if your parents are educated, this increases your probability of being. Wait, there's one more thing actually.
Okay.
Do you think a slave, after they have been freed, would they be more or less educated than someone who is not a slave?
After they have been freed. After they have been freed.
Let me help you out. They've been in the field all day.
All right.
Now they're free to do what they want. Do you think that they have an education? They've been in that field since 8 years old. They're now 24.
Working in the field all day.
Yep. Do you think that they would have an education? Do you think that they would knows how to reads?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not. They could barely talk.
Yeah.
So if they have so you agreed that, okay, that if they have gone through slavery, they would likely not have had as good as an education as somebody who was not a slave. You also agreed that the probability of you going into a higher level education would also be lower if your parents did not get a higher education.
Of course.
Do you see how this has a cyclical effect of poverty here?
Okay, so now working the fields all day, not getting no education, and your family isn't educated either, so.
Yep, your family is not educated. That family ends up growing up, getting kids. That the parents are still not educated. Then those kids have. Now, that's not to say that somebody couldn't effectively pull themselves up by their bootstraps and make their way to college, but the point is that the probability is lower. Which means, since that they are not getting a higher education, they are poorer. Since they are poorer, they commit more crime.
Gotcha. So like lack of education gets more crime.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
Did you have any other questions for me?
yeah, regarding the gender part, regarding gender crime. My subjects are all about like connecting crimes to certain groups stuff. So from race to gender and
Sure.
class and whatnot.
Yeah. What you got?
All right. All right. So my question is, we all know that men commit more crime than women do. Not saying that women can't do it; they can, but males have more of a statistical. They're much more higher in the statistics. So,
Mm-hmm.
am I true that that males are genetically more big, they're tough, and they have more of a higher probability to attack someone, be it a male or a female? Let's say a female at night. Am am I going too far with that theory, or like
Mm-hmm.
am I over exaggerating with that theory that yes, that men commit crime more than women because men are genetically more X, Y, and Z, yada yada. So, am I true on that?
Well, would you say that there appears to be a correlation between people with high testosterone to aggression?
High testosterone to aggression. If we're talking about like stuff like depends in the sense of like if you're using steroids, then yeah, it's gonna cause more aggression, really. Otherwise known as roid rage, then yeah. But if we're talking about testosterone as in working out naturally, then I don't think so. It's not gonna cause aggression to a certain extent.
So you would say that they're not correlated,
Yeah.
but they are.
Like even naturally, like growing body.
Yeah, having more testosterone, people are more aggressive around it. That's not to say it causes it. I've changed my opinion on it. I used to think that it causes it. It's correlatory, or rather, it's kind of hard to tell whether or not it's caused or if it's correlational. But the point is, at minimum, it's correlational. We can observe this, okay? And so if men tend to have more testosterone, that would mean that they're more aggressive. Because they are also more aggressive, that would mean that they would have a higher propensity to commit violent crimes. Boom. Is there an issue with that?
Not really. Testosterone. It is, but it's implying that people with high testosterone means you're a bad guy, pretty much, which I do not necessarily agree with. Neither do you, so
Neither do I to what?
you're saying that people with more testosterone leads to more aggression.
No. I said that they are correlatory. They're correlated, right? They are correlated. We don't know if it causes it or not. It's mixed. There's some studies that say for sure. There's others that say that it's hard to tell.
It's like it's a double-edged sword. Like you can't tell whether they're aggressive.
But the point is that, generally speaking, if somebody has more testosterone, they would likely also be more aggressive. And so since there are men tend to have more testosterone, that would mean that they would likely be more aggressive. So men tend to have more testosterone than women. Right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. You got anything else for me, buddy?
Thinking. What else is to talk about? Ooh, am I allowed to talk about international diplomacy and conflict?
Sure, if you want.
So I've been hearing this news a lot since 2019. Prior to this, back in 2014, there were people saying that, oh, Trump is a pro-Russian agent, blah blah blah, X, Y, and Z, and I brushed out with just some BS and stuff. But then I looked up closely now, and there is sort of a Russian collusion connection between the Republic and stuff. So now I just need someone to talk to me about it. Is it like true, or am I going on a conspiracy level right now?
I'm sorry, what are you asking exactly?
Asking about are the Republicans being an ally of the Russians? It's really.
I mean, some might say that. I don't necessarily agree to that. I guess it just depends on what you refer to as like an ally.
Like foreign interference in an election.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's some indication, but there's really not a whole lot for me to work off of. Did you have anything else for me?
That's about it. That's all I got now.
It's good talking to you, man.
Thanks. You too.
I'll try to get your video uploaded.
All right.
Follow me on YouTube. Hold on a sec. Now, if anybody wants to get onto the stage, I can go ahead and have you featured on a YouTube video. Just raise your hand, and we can have a good old-fashioned discussion. More than happy to hear you out. Culture Warrior says, bro, it might be socioeconomic conditions. What if there is an explanatory variable? Ice cream sales are going up, and so are drownings. Ice cream is causing these drownings. But if I said, let's ban ADOS and ice cream, I agree with you. You know, I think if you're going to make these kinds of representation, that's why I said a correlation as opposed to a causation. And there are some studies that establish or try to establish a causatory principle. But I agree with you. You should really be careful about that. Because obviously you want to watch out for things like what you're saying. Let me guess. Red coins? Red coins. Do I got to do red coins? Maybe red coins. Fluff Festival Coin Hunt. I knew it. Told you. Told you it'd be coins. Oh, shit. Is this the part where I got to... Oh, yeah. I remember this. Motherfucker. This might be a little difficult. It'll be all right. We got this. Oh, look, there's one right there. One. Need 8. From Depth Charge Media responding to Watch Madam Web today. I heard that women bought tickets to see it. The few who paid to see it in theater. I've never even heard of it. Is it good? I like good movies. Yo, who saw Barbie? I actually liked the Barbie movie. I was like, wait, this is actually really fun to watch. I get if people are like, you know, oh, Amender, you know, left-winger, blah, blah, blah. You Democrat. Of course you like the Barbie movie. No, I thought it was fun. I thought like people tried to politicize it and make it into something that it's like whatever. You know, I saw like Ben Shapipi making his arguments about it, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? It's literally just a Barbie movie. Like, I don't know why you're pissing about. You don't see me pissing about Dinesh D'Souza and his garbage films. Hey, yo, we got this this rocket nozzle. Dinesh's films are great. Bro, have you seen those ratings? It's not good. It ain't good. Also, why would we give, like, I guess, like, credence to, like, a guy that was just, that can't get his wife wet? He was just like, I asked my wife whether or not that she knew what wet ass P word was. She had no idea what he was talking about. No, culture warrior. I don't have a wife. You got me. You got me. It's just funny. It's just funny that the way that he spoke about it. Anyway. My doctor, yeah, my doctor's wife says the wet ass P word is a medical problem. I didn't understand what she was talking about. Bro, I'm fucking dead. Are you kidding? You can't find that not funny. That's hilarious. Oh man, I think there's like red coins on those clouds and I gotta jump on this thing. This is cool. Hillary's America, the secret history behind the Democratic Party. Rotten Tomatoes, 4% tomato meter, 80% audience score. You know what that tells me, right? Like there's a bunch of Republicans that just want a good rubbing. They just need their fifis rubbed. And they're just like, Dinesh D'Souza? Another one? Oh! Perfect. 10 out of 10. Fucking perfect. 100%. 100%. Rotten Tomatoes. 100%. Yeah, because, like, who else is watching it other than, like, the most hardcore fan? Of course, yeah, that makes sense. And then, like, everybody and all the fucking critics are sitting there like, oh, Jesus fuck. Oh, God, no. No, not another one. Oh, these films fucking suck. I'm telling you. A bunch of... Oh, I love this culture warrior. Always bringing in the hate. Bunch of trans liberal arts majors don't like a political film because it advocates not leeching off the government. Yeah, those stupid trans people, and they're taking my money. I can't handle it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, I think it's a dumb argument, but... Let's see. Are we going to get some wind? Hey, look at that. This is pretty cool. Please tell me there's a red coin out here. Am I just like out here for no reason? Red coin? ¿A dónde? Dame the red coin. I went all the way out here to find red coin and there is no red coin. There is only death. Orc says, you hate trans people too, Amender. Exhibit A, Voro. So he's talking about a character in the tabletop RPG I've been working on that he had designed. And it was a character that was apparently killing other characters in the game. And they were like a total, like they were like a super monster. And yeah, I didn't like that character because I was like, this is a really evil character. Holy shit. And that's what we're talking about. Was this character highly autistic? No, Culture Warrior, not a second thing for you to hate. I'm sorry. From Big Slump, evil can be fun to play with, but if they're a murder hobo, it gets boring. I agree. I agree with you. By the way, if anybody wants to raise their hand and have a discussion, you are free to raise your hand. And I will bring you in and we'll have a discussion. Just know, though, that this is being recorded. It does show up on my YouTube channel, and I'm currently streaming live. I gotta find red coins, man. Where the fuck are all these red coins? They are well hidden. Curious as to why they would make a... Oh, is that red coins over there? Yeah, I see it. There's red coins right up there. Just got to get that swing a moving. They just ate little people. That is that character. They ate little people. Post Warhopper says, I like the way you say government. He even spelled it Guvverment. I like the way you say government. Government? How am I supposed to say it? Government. That seems to be the way. Government. Is there... Am I saying it weird? I need to find these red coins. I got 4 of them. Where are the rest? It appears they're like anywhere. I think we do need to check the trees. Yeah, that might be a good move. From Midnight Shadow, government. You say government? That doesn't sound right. Government. No, that doesn't sound right. I don't believe that that's how you're supposed to say it. That's not how you're supposed to say it. I don't believe it. Government. 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 Culture Warrior, mocking people who don't want welfare queens by saying government to make fun of a more southern rural slang is as ignorant as thinking is all public assistance on blacks and get. Don't guys see any red coins? Let's check the other palm tree. Could there be red coins on the bottom? Oh, dude, that would suck. Conservative, yeah. Big Slump says conservative gets triggered by liberal cucks. Yeah, hey, you know, I'm willing to have the discussion. All you got to do is just raise your hand and then we can have a disagreement. You know, I won't even cut the video. Like I'll just upload. Even if I lose the debate, I will upload it, right? I will show. I have lost a couple And I have still uploaded. I've upheld my word even as I lose the debate. And no, I don't cut. The only thing that I cut in debates is just the timing in between where there's like waiting. That's it. So I don't take you out of context. I just, as is, there it is. So if you're willing to challenge me on a particular position, something you disagree with Democrats on, I'm right here. Let's have the discussion. Which debates have you lost in your opinion? There was one against Planet Peterson that I was dealing with. He managed to convince me in his argument. I was like, oh shit, wait, I think I'm actually 100% wrong and I have to like completely change my position here. So I lost that debate. And some would say that I lost the debate to Jovan Bradley, which, I mean, I think like we both held our own, but I do think that my rhetoric was poor. So it's probably safe to say that I lost that debate. Irma says, what debate did First Amender on YouTube lose? Yes, that is, I listed the two. There was the Jovan Bradley debate that I think I did pretty poorly in terms of rhetoric, and I think that's why I lost the debate. I think I had the facts on my side, however. It's just, I think I did really bad on my rhetoric, and I just needed to improve on that. And as for the Jesse Lee Peterson, Jesse Lee Peterson, that would be amazing, by the way, if I got Jesse Lee Peterson. Could you imagine? Anyway, Planet Peterson, who's another YouTuber, he convinced me that the current war in Israel versus Palestine, Israel is committing a genocide. I ended up having to agree. I was convinced by his argument. Irma says, I was wondering if you thought you lost to Bungie. So, I don't like, Bungie's my friend, and I don't want to like make it seem like, yeah, dude, I owned him in a debate. Really what it is like, I don't know, he presented stuff that I agreed with, and I presented stuff to him that I think he ended up, conceding on, and it was just kind of like a mutual, hey, shake hands, let's move on, which is really cool. Raman says he lost the everyone is a liberal. So hold on. Here's the thing, right? I still think almost everybody is a liberal, right? I hope you understand my position on this, right? Like, I hope it makes sense. Like, even the Republican is a liberal at the end of the day, most of the time. You would have to be like an ultra MAGA extremist to be like, no, I'm not, actually not be a liberal, but instead just like a fascist. And I don't mean like MAGA, as in like, oh, I like Trump, America great. No, dude, I'm like, we got to get rid of the black people, kind of argument. Do you see what I'm saying? Big difference. Irma says, ew, you don't think we are still a patriarchal society? Wait, I do think we are a patriarchal society. I made the argument. Another one to Ramen saying, I'm aware, but you did lose. Well, okay, I'll grant you this, right? I moved the position, right? From everyone is a liberal to almost everyone is a liberal. And so I still think it's a cogent argument. Irma says, do not pronounce it that way. Wait, what did I... Patriarchal? 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 Patriarchy? Patriarchal? Have I been saying that wrong? No, don't exit! God damn it! If anybody wants to raise their hand, feel free. Ramen says include that in the video. I'll time it. All right, I'll probably do it as a short, I guess. Jesus Christ. All right. Warm, did you want to step up? Who wants to step up? Nobody wants to step up. Okay. All right, no problem. I'll just keep entertaining you. I don't mind. I'll just keep playing Mario. It's a good day. I love Mario. Mario's so fun. Ramen says, do you think the fact that we live in a patriarchal society is a problem? In some ways, yes. In other ways, like, there's a little bit more, like, nature to it. But that's not to say that, like, hey, we shouldn't, like, do things, like, to help resist nature. Does that make sense? Like, I guess, like, I could understand that there's certain necessity here. But at the same time, like, I don't think that it should be propagated in a way that pushes women down, right? I want as many barriers open to women as possible. But, like, there's instances where it's like, okay, maybe a man should be in this point, right? So, like, a good example would be, like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, if it's going to be something where it's, like, excessively like physical ability required, you either can be like a really strong woman or like a man, right? Where it's like that sort of thing might be necessary, right? So like I understand that there's differences between men and women, and so like obviously like there's certain things that men excel at over women, and that there's some things that women excel at over men. But I think that there's also bullshit, arbitrary reasons that women don't get accepted. And that's where like the idea of like the patriarchy does come in. And I'm like thinking about how it's like, okay, in general, leaders, they tend to be men. I mean, that's in general, that is the case. It is true that a lot of men, they tend to be more aggressive, and because they tend to be more aggressive, they tend to get more leadership positions. But I don't think that we should necessarily foster aggression. Like aggression in terms of leadership, it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. It just totally depends on the hold on. Warm just says, nah, what the fuck did I just hear? What's wrong? What did I say? Did I say something fucked up? Was it really that fucked up? What? More men leaders? Yeah, I mean, men tend to be leaders because they tend to be more aggressive. Now, I'm not saying that being aggressive is a virtue for leadership. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Warm says, I completely disagree in my opinion. What if we just vote whoever gets in? I agree. No, we should vote whoever gets in. Also, maybe it helps for a leader to not be so aggressive. You ever think of that? I think so. I don't think it should be like a virtue to be like aggressive as a leader. Leaders need to lead, not be a bully. Right? And I think that like being aggressive, it's like a lot of the times it gets you ahead. And I think that like creates like kind of a toxic atmosphere that makes things worse for people. There you go. More women leaders, more women in leadership positions. I agree. From Base God Flashy, I read back in college that a negotiation course that statistically women are less likely to try to negotiate a higher wage, likely due to societal factors of being viewed as aggressive. Ha! I don't know if that's true. That could totally be false. Sounds correct, though. Culture Warrior says, I think my international politics professor showed me a study about women leaders and engaging starting wars just as much as men. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. From Warm, he says, all right, maybe the context you were saying. Sorry for that. I think we're majority agree, though. Yeah, man. We should be able to... Okay, all right, here... I don't know if this is a hot take. It's probably not a hot take. I think we should be able to recognize and celebrate the differences of men and women. I don't think that it is bad that there are differences between men and women. And I think that these things should be celebrated. It allows for further diversity. And so what that ends up meaning to me, personally, is that it means that there's more active economic traders that can help contribute to society. And as a result of more economic traders contributing to society, that means more goods and services. When there's more goods and services, that means people can live out the things that they find to be more valuable because products and services are cheaper. Better society. That's what I go for. I go for that as the better society. I want people to pursue the things that they find valuable. I hope that makes sense. Where are the rest of these red coins? Irma says, is that what you value? Yes, I value things being able to pursue the things that they find valuable. Yes, that is exactly what I value. Yeah, Bubba's. What? Do you want to talk? I love you. Do you guys hear that? She's loud. Come on now, Bubbies. Come on up. She's like, fuck that. I don't want to come up. What did you want to do? You just want to share something? Okay. Ramen says, I mean, women are in less political positions, so unless they get them, we will be a patriarchal... I'm trying to help. I'm trying to work on it. We will be a patriarchal society. So I think, now hear me out, right? And you heard me say men tend to be more aggressive. I just think that, like, I don't know, we shouldn't necessarily value aggression as like a good thing. Like, I think that, like, we need more leaders that have it, that possess empathy. Right? I think that might actually lead to better leaders, in my opinion. And I don't know. It's just a matter of, like, I don't know, considering, like, what we consider to be. I think we should, like, be able to look at, like, if somebody is overly aggressive, that it's like, you know, you really shouldn't be in leadership. Like, that's not a good quality to have. Hi there, Pepper. Look, it's my kitty. She's my baby. How you doing, bubbies? Warm says, you need aggressiveness in a foreign leader, though. I agree. This is a good example of, like, a situation where, okay, maybe a man would be better in this type of situation. Right? But it's also possible that a woman could be very successful at negotiating towards somebody who's overly aggressive. I guess it just depends. Having that diversity is really important. I love this song in this game. This is a great song. It's got such a nice tropical sounding. Where the fuck are all these red coins? This game is so beautiful and then also extremely infuriating. There are moments where it's like, why, Nintendo? Why you do this? Ramen has requested to speak. All right. Come on up, Ramen. How you doing,
Hello.
Ramen?
I'm doing okay. I would argue that I feel like we need more aggressive leaders, and then I think the leaders need to have more empathetic advisors, just to contain, just a angel on their shoulder. But I'd also argue I don't think I don't think we should have a super aggressive leader. I just think we need a leader capable of being able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, someone spoke about it earlier. They said like men tend to, they tend to be, harder in trying to get raises, and women, apparently they tend to avoid that because they get seen as more aggressive, and that's seen as like a negative thing. And so like, that's kind of where
I'd
I'm.
agree.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I don't think it's like, I think we need to like change our like the culture that we have around that. Like, I don't think it's a virtue to be like an aggressive leader, I guess.
Well, I think it's a double standard, because if a man's trying to be what's it called, aggressive with trying to get in a position, it's like he's just getting after it, he's grinding. But if a woman did it, she's being for lack of a better term, she's being a bitch. She just wants too much. She needs to just be content. But that also just depends on where you're working. But I mean, I don't think it should be a double standard.
What do you
It's
mean?
the same. I feel like if a woman tries to get after it, I feel like it should be treated the same as if a man tried to do the same.
Oh yeah, no, I
I feel
completely
like
agree.
they should be
for
looked
sure.
at differently.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that there exist barriers, and that exist for no reason, and it's barriers like that make the world worse for people, right? Where it's like it's just there because of some cultural bullshit. It has absolutely nothing to do with like
Yeah.
any like real reason. It's just like, oh, this cultural
what I will
thing
say,
that
though,
blocks people from being able to do the
isn't-
things.
Most societies, at least, women tend to be more womanly. Oh, my game crashed. More feminine, and not really like, that's what I meant by like the not trying to get into politics and stuff. They don't tend to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you lived in a society where women were, because men have traditionally been expected to, not expected, but they're more inclined to leadership positions and stressful positions. It's seldom I find a woman who wants to like start a business or be a lawyer or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really find that.
You think seldom women aren't lawyers?
Seldom I find. It's rare that I find a woman who wants to be like a lawyer or a politician or a not doctor maybe.
Did you know that there's like an equal amount of male and female lawyers?
What are they doing? Like, what are they trying to be in a lawyer? Are they being criminal lawyers type shit?
I don't know.
Are that even?
I don't know.
I know there's an equal amount of male and female politicians.
That is correct. Yes.
I'm also.
So it shows that about
Highlights.
40% of lawyers in the United States are women, based off of Statista 2023.
Okay. 60% men then.
Yeah,
I do
I
think
don't think
it's
so.
burning.
I don't think things are always going to be perfectly equal, but I mean, if it's close enough, I'm happy. It just shows that there's like the lack of that barrier. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what I want to see is that like if I see that it appears to be that way, the goal isn't like, oh, it has to be perfect 50-50. My point is that like obviously if it's that way and it's not like because of like some physical difference, then obviously it's a barrier for some bullshit reason. For whatever reason it is.
What I personally think is everyone should have equal opportunity regardless of race or gender to get whatever job they aspire to get. That's what I think.
Mhm.
And that's why it's like we should just vote whoever's the best. If that ends up being a patriarchy, then it ends up being a patriarchy. If we vote who's whoever most people think the best candidate is,
Well,
that's fine by me.
I mean, do you think that it is possible that people will not vote for a president specifically because that they are a woman?
I think there are people that'll do that. I think they're
That's why.
older. I feel like the new generation isn't as sexist.
That's true. It's true.
So I feel like that problem will die out.
I hope
I don't
so.
feel like there's much we can do
I
about
sure
it
hope
now.
so.
Because if there's still people who genuinely think that if a woman is a better candidate than a man,
Mhm.
but you'll vote the man just off the fact that they're a man, I don't feel like there's much you can say because they're already not logical.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's just some bullshit barrier that shouldn't be there.
I don't think that'll be here much longer.
Well,
with
I mean,
some,
it's been
like-
around for thousands of years.
Hmm.
It's
But for
seen
thousands
itself
of
quite
years-
pervasive.
Well, for thousands of years, it was never really an idea of women should have rights.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Now we live in a society where women have.
More women should have rights.
Right.
I agree.
Oh, I know. I don't know. I don't. I barely ever would find. I've never seen a sexist under 30 on a fan. So I don't. I mean, I'm sure they'll
You've
still
never seen a
exist.
sexist under 30?
Not someone I feel like is sexist enough not to vote a president. That's better.
Bro, I have met plenty of young people that would absolutely not vote somebody in because they feel like a woman cannot possibly lead. I have heard that.
Well.
Young, right? Like Zoomer. You know, like they're getting ready to vote for the first time.
Well.
It's sad,
Well.
really, if you think about it.
My question to you, because I honestly don't know much of a solution, is what do you think we should do to remedy that?
I think just like having better education really helps.
I mean,
I think like we need to like, I don't know, maybe foster more diverse experiences, I guess. I think there's like a lot of situations where it's like a person will relinquish their hate because they just experience more things as a result. You know, but if they're like secluded and just kind of like stuck in the internet or whatever, they can easily fall into like rabbit holes that are pretty rough.
I don't know. I mean, there are some things that I could understand the viewpoint. Like,
Let me give you an example. There was a time where like, okay, so like I'm a pretty solitary individual. I'll just tell you right now, I'm a very solitary individual. And then I first hear about the movement, MGTOW, right? Men go their own way. And I was like, MGTOW, men go their own way. Well, I go my own way. I love going my own way. I love being able to do what I want to do, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And I fucking open up that fucking door, and they're just like, yeah, fucking, dude, I fucking hate women. Dude, don't you fucking hate women? I fucking hate women too, dude. Why don't they have sex with me? And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I just closed that fucking door, and I just walked the fuck away. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. But, bro, imagine if somebody is like a fucking, like Gen Z, or like they have very little life experience. I could easily see this happening to them. Like they just get stuck into it. You see what I'm saying?
and there, I mean, there's some legitimate reasons I could understand. Well, I would never. I'm not gonna be sexist, but there are biological differences. Like men are better at, or men handle stress differently than women do.
Mhm.
So, one could argue if we live in a very stressful country, if it was binary, you'd probably rather have a man.
In a stressful situation?
If we lived in a
it
stressful
just
time in the country.
Depends on the person, I think. Like
Well,
I
that's why
guess
said if it was a
it could be
binary
true
choice.
that like men tend to deal with it better than women, but just like, men tend to be stronger than women doesn't mean that like there aren't stronger women.
That's why it's like just vote whoever you vote. It's not that hard of a concept.
What do you mean?
The idea that you should just vote whoever the best candidate is. 'Cause I can't make. There will always be exceptions. to
Well, I
whatever
think it's a
belief that you
positive
have.
when there's a woman leader, right?
I
Obviously,
think
they're a
it's
go-getter.
positive though. I think
I think that's
it's
a virtue.
positive if it's. I think it's positive if there's a good leader.
Like, okay, let's be honest, right? Think about like somebody like Nancy Pelosi, right? I know most people don't like Nancy Pelosi, right? That person has got like this insatiable fighting spirit. You got to be honest, right? Like just think about it for a second, right? You really think that Nancy Pelosi, like think about that person, and what do you think that they're like? Like if you had to sit there in a room with Nancy Pelosi, like I feel like that is probably one of the most aggressive and most powerful people that you could even imagine. I think you would be completely blindsided with how like insane or insanely like intimidating that person would be.
First Amendment. Bring up one.
Bring up what?
One.
Oh, sure. Come on down, Worm.
So I mean, I actually kind of want to push back heavily on ramen. We in the current political sphere, we're seeing sexism kind of play out in multiple different world areas. So the biggest one I want to highlight is South Korea.
Okay.
In South Korea, you have a okay, so South Korea's biggest issue is their birth rate's dog shit.
Right.
It's 0.78. 0.78, I want to add, is very bad for a nation. It's bad enough you will not be able to replenish anyone.
Right.
So you've had it's specific. I would say you have two sides, but I blame more of the right wing faction here the most, which is you have a bunch of men who blame the fact that women want to work. You're having work hours, all of this.
Yeah.
So you're having a section of that actually happen in society. Also, I want to add, you said, well, that hasn't really happened in younger generations. 2016.
I said I haven't seen it. That's my personal experience.
I'm
I
going to tell
acknowledge
you,
it does.
2016 was a very good example of sexism.
I was a very young person with 2016. Oh,
I specifically remember a lot of people straight up saying they did not like Hillary because she was a dominant bitch.
So
Like straight up.
Be honest.
They did
right?
not like the fact that she was an aggressive woman.
Do you think that Nancy Pelosi was like is a go-getter?
Yeah, but I mean, I think Nancy Pelosi's an asshole, but that's because it's not because she's a woman. It's not because she's a woman.
No, I get you. Yeah. No, she's a lot of people don't like her, but when she is on your side, she can be a force to reckon with.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's good aspects of Nancy Pelosi. I'm not gonna like disagree, but there's also.
I mean, there's a reason
enough
why she's been in politics for what 40 years now.
Yeah,
obviously
I would
she
agree.
knows her way around negotiation. Obviously she can like her ability of like Machiavellianism is insane.
Well, her biggest thing isn't even necessarily the fact that she's good at. Her biggest thing that she's good at is fundraising.
That is a very important part of politics.
I mean, like I remember Nancy. I remember when there were people talking about who was going to succeed Nancy Pelosi. And I kept bringing up Hakeem Jeffries because Hakeem Jeffries acts a lot like Nancy Pelosi, just a little bit more pragmatic.
Yeah.
But no, there's definitely been certain it's weird because I would agree with you to an extent, Ramen. We're not seeing. I wouldn't say we're seeing sexism completely show up, but I mean, it's the same with race. I mean, it's still around.
Can't deny.
It's still
Can't deny.
prevalent.
Well, it will never go away.
Well, what I'm saying is, I would say you're downplaying it, respectfully.
Do you think that, like, if sexism will never go away, do you think that there should be anything done to mitigate it?
Well, I mean, I think the equal rights
I'm
amendment
sorry,
would
that
be
was
the
for
best way.
that
So
was for
that's where
Ramen.
I'd say. So I'd say there's two things. Number one, the equal
I'm asking
rights
Ramen.
amendment. Oh, sorry.
He said that. He said the
No,
statement.
I made that. I'm not. I made that comment to say that stuff like sexism will tragically, as much as we mitigate it, and I do think we should try. I just don't think it. I think it's impossible that it'll ever go away. Just like how I think racism will never
I
go
think
away.
it's impossible to stop all forest fires, but that doesn't mean that you therefore give
Yeah, I
up
agree.
on stopping forest fires.
But that wasn't what I meant. That just mean what she said. I was just like, well, sexism never goes away. Not like what's it called? I'm not saying that we should just let it be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, then,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
we're
know-
in
I know you're
agreement
not.
then that, like, you know, hey, areas where there's sexism, we really shouldn't, you know, we should do what we can to stop that and mitigate it, right? Because it makes the world worse for people. Half the population, in fact. And then in turn, by cutting other people out of these sectors, then what happens is that, like, people don't end up doing the things that they find valuable, and in turn that makes your life worse, because that basically results in you not getting as much things available to you as there normally would have been.
What I would push back on, though, is aggressiveness. I
Let's
don't
hear it.
necessarily think you'll be able to get rid of aggressiveness in terms of a leader.
Well, I'm
At
saying
all.
it shouldn't.
A leader has to have
again, like,
aggressiveness.
I,
It
don't-
sh- I mean,
I
sh-
again, I
okay,
agree with you.
so-
Like, but the question is whether or not it should be mitigated, right? Like,
No,
I could
I
posit
actually
you the
would say
same
no.
question and say, what? Why not?
So I would say specifically 3 reasons. So number one, if we look at the United States, and I said this in the side chat before, but let's look at the nation of Iran. Iran's in a, regardless of the fact that they just had their president just die from a helicopter crash, which is kind of it sucks, but hey, it happened. Regardless of that, Iran does not really respect. If we look at their government, they don't really care about a weak leader. The reason why is, yes, we can come up to yes, we have done diplomacy with them, and we have worked with them in the past, but it's because we're either A, willing to, or B, we've always been able to, in a way, strong arm people to an extent. So like for the Iran nuclear deals, we kind of threatened them with, like, hey, if you don't do this, we'll just put more sanctions. And to be fair, if you look at Iran's economy, when we've been doing sanctions, it has been affecting them. So like if we look at their air force, part of the reason why their president died, we sanctioned them and that one area. So there's that. I would say number 2.
What does that have to do with women? I'm sorry.
So what I'm
He's not
saying
talking
is
about
it's
women.
more. What I'm saying is it's more of a. I'm saying it's more of a cultural. It's not even really about women. Like it's not about. I'm saying about leaders in general.
Okay.
I'd rather have more of an aggressive leader.
Mhm.
Like as much as we shouldn't, I think we should. Again, I think it comes down to the fact that a lot of foreign political leaders care a lot about dominance and aggression, and generally want to do better for their own nation. And because if you look at all of the adversaries of the United States, which is Iran, China, Russia, Jordan, nations like that, if you can get a opening, like at least a single opening of a weakness, it doesn't really help. I'll give an example. Oh, during Obama's second term and Trump's first term, Obama had nominated John Kerry, and then Trump had nominated Rex Tillerson. Right? So they were basically the biggest foreign diplomat for the United States. Both were considered very weak for completely different reasons. If we look at Rex Tillerson, not only did the man have business ties to Russia through Exxon and had a couple of business ties to other regions, he was not able to play up his diplomatic favors at all. Right? If we look at the Abraham Accords and shit, so like things that the Trump cabinet tends to...
I thought Rex Tillerson did a really good job, though, in terms of his negotiation. He had predicted way before, talking about the two largest issues at the time. They said that the short-term issue was the issue with North Korea and nuclear bombs, and then the second issue was whether or not that China would take Taiwan, but that's a long-term issue. And he was talking about that way before anyone else was talking about those things, and he was right about both.
North Korea, he's not the only one that's talked about North Korea. We've had
I'm just saying, like, when you run Exxon and you deal with all of those negotiations, you end up getting pretty close and dirty with a lot of foreign officials.
Yes.
And so, like, he had a lot of connections that were very beneficial.
Yes, you can have connections. I don't disagree with that. But the problem with him...
I just think he was effective. I'm sorry.
He was effective, but I don't think he was that effective. I'd say he was more of a...
Well, yeah, he was fired.
I mean, also...
The guy actually did a good job.
He really should not have been Secretary of State. He really should have not. I'm being straight up. When the people we've normally nominated for Secretary of State, he is, like... he's one of the few wild choices we've ever had as Secretary of State. So I would say Tillerson's one of them, and then John Kerry is another example of a Secretary of State, or even Antony Blinken. If we look at Kerry's issue is a lot of the way the Iran. So when we had the Iran nuclear deal, we had it set up. The problem is, during this time, there were stipulations, partly because of how the general staff and John Kerry were. Well, if we look at the current general staff and John Kerry, because he's in the Biden administration, a lot of the blame that gets thrown at, oh, why is this bad? Normally it's because of the general staff and John Kerry. There was an article that specifically talks about how his dealings of the Syrian government, the dealings of Iran, the dealings of Saudi Arabia were not well. And it wasn't even for the fact that, like, he was bad. It was more of the fact that he wasn't in a good position, and he wasn't really aggressive. Right? So what I'm saying is, when you're a leader, you have to be maybe not aggressive in the, like, oh, I'm going to punch you or whatnot. But I mean aggressive, I mean you have to have a sort of...
Well, I think there's instances where maybe aggression is, I suppose, helpful, but there's plenty of instances where maybe just like having a more empathetic mind is super helpful as well.
I would, but Jimmy Carter is a big push against it.
Okay.
And I like Jimmy Carter. Like, I like the man.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He got walked over, sadly.
Yep, because everyone in politics is Machiavellian.
And that's the point I'm trying to highlight. The way that the system is played, you like, as much as it should be.
But then that just means, like, you would agree in the sense that, like, hey, that's a bad thing, and we shouldn't look at aggression as a virtue to have.
At the same time, I kind of adore Machiavellianism in that way. Like, I actually kind of agree with it, because if you're not maximizing what's good, if you're not maximizing pragmatism, or you're not maximizing what's best for you, and I'm not necessarily meaning you as the individual, I'm meaning you as in a group of people, you as in a party, you as in a nation. If you don't focus on the maximization, it tends to fuck with you. NAFTA,
I feel like that's
example,
one of the worst qualities in a leader. Like,
you
there
give me
can be leaders that...
where that would be bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm saying, like, That's one of the worst qualities in a leader, in the sense that they are they're out for themselves at that point, right? They're not there to like
Oh, the
protect
nation,
others.
as she clarified.
What?
She clarified, as the nation, out for the nation.
Yeah.
I mean, as a leader of a country, you should be out for
You have
the
to
nation
be
you're
aggressive for your
ruling.
nation. I'm gonna be straight up. NAFTA's the biggest. Like NAFTA is one of the biggest blunders we've ever had.
I
Because
mean,
of that.
I'm not very much invested in specific politics. I'm just saying, to me, if I was running a country, or if I was voting for a leader, I would rather have someone that's trying to aggressively do what he says, and if I agree with what he says, like if I for some reason, if like let's say if I wanted before the war on drugs, if I wanted the war on drugs, I wouldn't want a leader that's empathetic to the druggies. I would want someone who's aggressive in it.
Why wouldn't you
fine.
want to be empathetic towards people who
This
are
is-
addicted to drugs?
I just use it as an example because it's easy.
That's
I-
easy? That doesn't make your
Yes.
point look good.
No, it does. It
Being
kind of.
aggressive towards drug users?
That's not Amender. That's not the argument he was making.
The argument I'm making, Amender, is if I was against druggies, I wouldn't want a leader that's empathetic towards them.
Yep.
If
Now,
you
apply
wanted a
to
leader that
any-
is what?
If I wanted a leader that, what's it called? If I didn't like druggies and I wanted them to go away, and I had no empathy towards them, I would want a leader that is aggressive towards them and isn't empathetic. And now apply that to anything
That doesn't
else.
reduce
If I
drug
want-
users, though.
That's Amender.
The point I'm making.
That makes
getting
things
hooked
worse.
up on
I'm
it.
saying
You're-
that
you're
makes
getting-
things
you're-
worse. That goes against
you're
your
getting
position.
hooked up on You're getting hooked up on policy here. It's not about the policy. It's about the philosophy of the position.
Look, this is what you're
think,
missing, Amender.
I
What
think
I'm-
I
I'm
get what you're saying, but
Okay.
I feel like it drives to a point that like it's not a good idea to have an aggressive. Anyway, it's fine.
Amender, if I wanted something to happen in politics, and there was two options, I can vote for the leader who. Okay, let's say during World War II, I want to go to war. I want to go to war with the Nazis. Now, there's two leaders. One of them is completely unsympathetic to the war itself, and they want to end it as soon as possible. And then there's one that's, while he completely disagrees with them, is like, well, what about the Nazis? What about the civilians? I would vote the motherfucker who like, we gotta go get the shit done. That's what I want in a leader.
Well, I mean, I could give you a better example.
You can use a better example.
I could use a better.
Wait, can I say something?
Sure.
Sorry, I've been like waiting for Mender to get me on here. I just wanted to say, like, are you? Can I clarify that you mean not necessarily aggressive towards drug users themselves or drug addicts, but aggressive towards like if you're a lawmaker, if you're, somebody in power that could get policies and laws created or changed to put a further stop towards drug abuse? Is that what you mean? Because being aggressive towards drug addicts does nothing.
I was using
in the
using
picture.
it as a philosophical advance, a
All
philosophy.
right, so I'm
not
glad I'm
a
not crazy.
position.
Like both, I don't know, both Ramen and
I
Warren
was
are saying
just
like,
trying to
oh, he's not
clarify.
arguing
That's
the
not the
politics.
point.
He's arguing
No,
the
that's
Again,
That's not my point.
It was more.
If
It was
you-
not the point. It
But I'm
was
saying
really
like
not.
it
you care, though,
drives.
hold on,
I
because this
understand
is
that you're not
apparently a
talking
problem.
about the politics, but it
That's-
makes your position sound weaker.
Okay, that's fine. I want
I
to
thought you
clarify.
were talking about the politics.
I
I'm
want to
sorry.
clarify for you, Thyme. I personally believe that we should be more empathetic towards the drug users and less empathetic towards the drug dealers.
Oh, okay. That sounds completely different from the initial point.
The initial
but yeah, I
point-
get that. You mean like
Yeah,
legally, like
Yes.
okay.
feel like we should crack down harder on the drugs getting distributed, and I feel like we shouldn't arrest people who are doing them. I think we should help them get better.
That's
But I don't
great
feel like
because it
that's
sounded completely different initially.
No,
That's why I was saying,
I
like,
was
you
just
mean
trying
the
to.
It was
laws,
more.
or-
It
No,
was
no.
using.
I'm
It was
just trying
using
to
a.
make a.
It
I was
was
trying to
making
make a point saying that
Okay.
if I wanted, well, here's my point. If I, as a voter, if I want something done, no matter
You
what it
vote in
is,
power who agrees with you.
I vote someone not just who agrees with me, but who's more aggressive towards getting it done.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
I need
highlight
aggression.
two. I'll highlight two examples of this.
Do you think it's possible
London B.
empathy could get you closer to your goals as opposed to not?
For Lyndon B. Okay, so this is where my two positions would come up: Brexit and Lyndon B. Johnson.
I'm asking
So
Ramen.
What's up?
So do you think that there's a situation where your goals could get satisfied or could get completed by having a leader with more empathy? Because I don't think aggression is necessarily the only card that you can play. Like, I think there's many cards you can play, and empathy is one of them. And empathy might actually be a lot better than just aggression.
Give me an example.
Negotiating premises.
Okay.
Like, being aggressive is not going to get you a win there. You're going to lose if you do that.
I would
Wow.
push back specifically during the 1960s, during the Civil Rights Movement with Lyndon B. Johnson.
I would also argue, though, I said I wanted an aggressive leader, not a dumb one. An aggressive leader can still be empathetic in a negotiation to get what he wants. What I mean by aggression is just aggressive towards it. Like, he's not going to let anything up. Like, Lyndon B. Johnson was very, that's a good example.
Very
He was very
fucking
dead,
very
he
like
was
Lyndon
dead
B.
set.
Like if you look at Lyndon B. Like that's why I'm bringing up Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson's one of the most aggressive leaders we ever had, and got Medicaid, helped get the Civil Rights Movement pushed. I mean, Vietnam, regardless if you like Vietnam or not, and I don't, he was very aggressive when it came to it. Basically, his entire idea was, if it's going to happen, we're going to make it happen. What this man would do, and it's known because he was the Senate Majority Leader of the Democrats, is, say there was a meeting, right? He would stand right in front of these like he would stand right in front of the Republicans and stand right in front of their face. Like, he would get very confrontational and say, "This is what the fuck's going to happen. I will make it where you." Basically, he would use power in a way to make them either work with them, or in essence saying, "We're going to get this shit done regardless."
Right,
That's
and
why
that
when
was-
you look. That's why when you look at Lyndon. Hold on. That's why when you look at Lyndon B. Johnson, specifically during his presidency, he's considered one of the most aggressive leaders in that aspect. It's not necessarily, when I'm talking about aggressiveness from my angle, I'm not talking about necessarily hurting someone or punching someone. What I'm meaning is, if you believe in what the fuck you're saying, you're not dilly-daddling, you're getting what the fuck you wanted. It's the same with Biden. Biden's actually a pretty fucking aggressive leader, and the way that he wanted an infrastructure bill, he got pretty much everyone to agree with the bill, and also said, if you don't fucking agree to this bill, you're getting primaried. That is being aggressive, because he said, you either are with me or not. Here's what happens if you're not with me.
And you can
That's
make a
being
very
aggressive.
good argument to
I-
say if
I-
it weren't for, hold on, you can make a very good argument to say if it weren't for Lyndon B. Johnson, some of the civil rights acts that were passed would not be passed in the same effect.
Without him
So,
being a dick.
real quick, I get y'all's position, but I'll let you guys get that last word in, and I do have to finish up. I have to start my editing process, but I really appreciate y'all for joining. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll there's my
I mean, before you finish, I do want
YouTube.
to ask: do you have a opinion, like a rebuttal to that? Do you have any?
No, I'm gonna let you have
response
the
to that?
last word.
Okay.
I think it's more polite that way.
Ooh, hold on, no, Amender, tell us what you think.
I just
Make it a
don't-
wanna
YouTube
know.
short, real quick. Make it a
I
little
just
YouTube
think
short.
well, I got
Say something
plenty. Trust me,
spicy
I
and
got
then
plenty.
end the video.
Anyway, I
Okay.
really appreciate y'all. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. You know, I'm new.
disappointed.
I'm up and coming, so I really appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. I'm gonna close up. I'm gonna disconnect the. I think if I leave the stage, it kills the whole thing. So just feel free if you guys want. Go to Hangout Haven. Thank you.
All right.
Uh,
So, yeah.
Thank you all, everybody, very much for joining my stream. Do this every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, mark it on your calendar if you want to join, and we'll go down that route. Subscribe to me. Thank you all very much.